Shut up. Jin Kang Yen stares at Jinyu. Although she only met Yunwu once, she also learned a lot about her from King Yufeng. She is not a person who will take the initiative to provoke others. Jinyu words want to say what, touched Jinkanjian anger just didn't say out, can only be angry waiting for Cloud dance, the bottom of the eye is full of ferocity. The cloud dances to pass that overcast and ruthless vision, smile away, just come at first, borrow here a few days, don't know convenient? Of course. Jin Kang Yen nodded, slightly softened the corners of her mouth. In a few days, it will be the day of the little girl's martial arts contest. I'm glad you can join me. Untie the young lady. Then he looked at Yunwu and said, follow me. Cloud danced tiny jaw head, dark glanced at Jinyu's speech, the corner of the mouth raised a touch of provocative smile. You. Jinyu said that her eyes were burning with anger, but she had nothing to do with Yunwu. The next second, the anger is a little distorted, and gradually turns into a smile. Enjoy these days. The day of martial arts competition is the time when you will never be free. That's in cold eyes, naked stay in the cloud behind. Yunwu felt it, and Long Qingxi also felt it. They looked at each other, and the corners of their mouths also stirred up a smile. She will definitely tell the Beast Gate their whereabouts. Since she can't find 5 elements to enter the Beast Gate at one time, she can only let the Beast Gate come to find her. Due to the position of Tsangyun Castle, the Beast Gate will not act rashly. She just wants to be robbed by the Beast Gate, not solve it on the spot. 3 days later. Today, Tsangyun Castle is very busy. Many people come from all walks of life, some for martial arts competitions, some for congratulations, and some for fishing in troubled waters. Today, both Yunwu and Long Qingxi are disguised and put on human skin masks. One is to be unobtrusive, and the other is to observe whether the minions of the Beast Gate have come. At this time, there are a lot of people around the competition arena. The rich child of Qingyong City and the famous swordsman in the river and lake are basically here. Yunwu, dressed in a man's suit, sits on a table in a remote place, seemingly lazily drinking tea wantonly, but in fact he is observing everyone. The dragon Qingxie, who was sitting opposite her, was looking at the cloud dance tenderly and sighed, little thing, if you are a man, a woman will miss her whole life. Cloud dance whitey one eye, looking at his eyes doting, cold way, child, to a man show this kind of eyes, don't you think strange? She doesn't want to be noticed for that. I don't care for my husband. Dragon Qing Evil is still a pair of pleasing looking at her, the tenderness in the eyes does not hide. At this moment, the people who are a few steps away from them have cast disgusting eyes on them after hearing the word, for husband. The willow eyebrows are slightly wrinkled, and there is some helplessness between the eyebrows. However, when she took back her eyes, a familiar figure appeared in her mind. Looking at the crowd again, the figure was still there. Why do you feel familiar? Yunwu frowned slightly, searching for the master of the figure in her mind. Suddenly, her eyes were lifted and her eyes changed slightly. Zhou Feiyu? The man was wearing a silver robe, and his back was arrogant and awe-inspiring. It was not who Zhou Feiyu was. He's in the upper bound, too. Has the seizure of power by the Zhou dynasty been settled? Zhou Feiyu felt that there was a look at him behind him. His sharp eyes narrowed and looked back. That look had moved away. He scanned the place where his eyes appeared, and finally locked his eyes on Yunwu. At the moment, Yunwu glanced at him, and the 4 eyes were opposite. Zhou Feiyu's body was shocked. Is that her? Just as he looked at the cloud dance, the evil figure of dragon appeared in his sight. At the moment, Long Qingxie is still looking at the cloud dance with an infatuated look on his face, and his mouth is smiling with evil spirits, without paying any attention to Zhou Feiyu's gaze. Zhou Feiyu's face was tight. At that moment, he affirmed that the man was Yunwu. I'm afraid there won't be a second person except Yunwu who can make Long Qingxi have such an expression. Well. Dragon Qingxie suddenly groaned in pain. At the moment of his pain, he found the distant gaze. Some dissatisfied looked at Cloud Dance, she even pinched him. However, Long Qingxie raised his eyes and looked at the man. After seeing Zhou Feiyu, the corner of Long Qingxie's mouth raised a smile. It seems that all who should have come have come. Cloud Dance glances at him. Don't you worry that Long Xuguo will be swallowed by him. I'm afraid the Zhou dynasty didn't have the ability to swallow the kingdom of Longxiu and the kingdom of An at the same time. Dragon Qing evil sword eyebrows slightly pick, toward Cloud Dance cast a flattering eye. Little thing, do you think I should take the Zhou dynasty as my husband? Dragon Qing Xia made a neck-wiping move towards Cloud Dance. Although Yunwu didn't say anything more, he scolded the black-bellied guy in his heart. The Zhou dynasty was weak. Without Zhou Feiyu, it would be more useless. If Situ Lan used the power of Longxiu Kingdom and An Kingdom to deal with the Zhou dynasty, it would be more than enough. Her elite troops and killer corps are also in the lower boundary. They will certainly follow the command of Long Xuguo and participate in it. It will be difficult for the Zhou dynasty to perish at that time. Of course, the situation in the lower bound doesn't make much difference to her. She only hopes that the Cloud family will be safe. In her meditation moment, Zhou Feiyu has already sat on their table. Long time no see. Zhou Feiyu looks at the Cloud Dance, and a trace of joy passes through his sharp eyes. Cloud Dance's tiny jaw head glanced at him one eye. How did you also come? Can't I come if you can? Zhou Feiyu eyebrows a pick, seems to Cloud Dance this problem some helpless. I mean, she said, it's too expensive for you to come to the upper bound. Don't wait for Cloud Dance to finish saying. Long Qing Xia interrupted her words, toward her smile, not smile of hook-up corners of mouth. If a choice has to be made between the two, I'll choose here. Zhou Feiyu looked at the Cloud Dance very seriously. Cloud Dance is just a cold smile, no answer. He must have made some preparations to come to Shangjie. He knew that Situlan was not bound and didn't like fighting. As long as the Zhou dynasty didn't pick things up, he would not destroy the Zhou dynasty. At the moment, the competition on the challenge arena has already started. Jinyu said that while facing the man, he looked at Yunwu from time to time. I don't know why, Yunwu always feels that her eyes are a little strange and her heart is a little uneasy. Time passed quickly, and the men who came to the stage one after another were beaten down by Jinyu. It was not until Qing Yufeng came to power that the two men were deadlocked for a long time. Hurry down and don't disturb my plan. Jinyu says that King Yufeng shouts anxiously. Qing Yufeng shook his head helplessly. You dare not refute master's words, do I dare? Jin Yu Yen Dai made a wrinkle, looked at the stage. Jin Kong Yen, don't understand why he want to let Clear Jade wind up. In 3 moves, you step down. Jin Yu made a glance at Qing Yufeng. Aunt, do you want the master to kill me? Qing Yufeng calls miserably. She beats her down in 3 moves. Everyone looks strange. Just do me a favor. After that, if you are still alive, I'll treat you to drunk chicken. Jin Yu's mouth was raised and his eyes blinked at Qing Yufeng. Qing Yufeng sighs helplessly. Is his life worth a chicken's money? After the 3 moves, Qing Yu is fast landing. Cloud Dance looking at so obvious cheating, and then look at Jin Kong Yen's slightly angry eyes, cold hum, this big lady is the rhythm of death. When the audience saw this scene, everyone saw that King Yufeng had lost intentionally, but most of them were still proud. If King Yufeng won, they would have no chance. Next, the dragon pours evil. Smell speech, Cloud Dance eyes a leng, and Dragon Qing Xia drink tea action micro a pause. Cloud Dance cold glance at a stage of Jin Yu words, this woman gored in by what medicine? How can the name of Dragon Qing Xia be on it? People are constantly patrolling, waiting for the man named Long Qingxie to come on stage. And Jin Kong Yen looks at Long Qingxie. Li Mao is more and more dark, obviously is annoyed by Jin Yu's speech this action. No wonder a few days ago that girl would take the initiative to discuss with him and want to hold a martial arts competition. It was for the present Wulong. Jin Kong Yan's palm is slightly clenched, looking at Jin Yu's words, her eyes are more fierce. Before Yunwu came to Shangjie, he knew about Longqingxi and Yunwu, but he didn't expect that the girl held a martial arts contest for Longqingxi. This wench, does she think that the man of that dragon Qing Xia is really so easy to grasp in the hand? Not to mention, there is the Cloud Girl, she is really playing with fire. Dragon Qing Evil looked at Cloud Dance one eye, toward her pick eyebrow, seemed to be escape. Deal with what you cause. Cloud Dance is not good. Long Qingxie stands up and smiles at the cloud. People like this should clean up in time when they meet them. When Zhou Feiyu heard the speech, his sharp eyes narrowed slightly, and his fingers holding the teacup turned white slightly. Cloud Dance looks at Long Qingxie walking into the challenge arena. The star's eyes are dim and the corners of his mouth raise a sneer. The crowd seems to be restless because of Long Qingxie. It seems that everyone who should have come has come. On the stage, Jin Yu Yen looks at Long Qingxie on the stage. Her eyes are slightly surprised. Maybe she didn't expect that Long Qingxie would really come on the stage. The same surprise is not only Jin Yu Yen, but also Jin Kangyan. He wanted to stop this farce. Just when he wanted to stop it, he saw Long Qingxie stand up. He looked at the Cloud Dance tasting tea, Li Mao complex, the two children's mind why he always guess it. You came up anyway. Jin Yu Yen looks at the dragon and smiles. I just don't want my woman to be bothered all the time. Long Qingxie looks at the Cloud Dance, and the evil spirit smiles, but his eyes scan the crowd as if he had not noticed it. Suddenly, he finds that there are many people watching him. Every face seems to have words written on it. We want to kill you. Smell speech. Jin Yu speech face slightly a change. Would element ting up. Instant sweep to dragon poor evil. Two people fight, but not up and down. After a long time, with a strong impact, the two stepped back. Jin Yu Yen looks at the dragon that looks like Satan on the opposite side, holding the sword in his hand, enduring the trembling and pain brought by the buzzing of the sword, and his eyes are full of consternation. After fighting for so long, she began to lose the upper hand, and her breath was unstable. And he has been calm, more than enough to deal with. The breath is not a bit abnormal. It's not long since he played in space last time, but his strength has been above her. She clearly felt that he belonged to Wuzuan's midterm strength. How could he be above her? Did he hide his strength from the beginning and play with her? I'm not your opponent, but you're meant to be mine. Jinyu said that with a wave of the long sword, the sword flew away and inserted into the pillar on the side of Long Qingxie's body. The next second, the blue sky suddenly changed color. The smell of darkness is like a poisonous haze, which constantly infects the cloud. In a moment, the whole cloud is dark. Qingyong City is in darkness. All around the challenge arena, people fell, even Jin Kangyan was no exception, followed by Jin Yuyan. Long Qingxie looked at Jin Yuyan, who fell down on the opposite side. His sword eyebrows wrinkled and his figure danced towards the clouds. In the mid-air, the white figure stagnated. With a dull landing sound, he looked at the purple figure in the distance and fell into a coma. Yunwu looks at the dragon in the distance, her eyes suddenly cold. Zhou Feiyu coma before the last second, Chaoyun Dance said, waiting for us. He knew that Dragon Qingxie knew that this menacing man was for Cloud Dance. Yunwu looks at Zhou Feiyu who is falling down, frowning slightly. She is too familiar with this breath. At the same second when she got up, the black fog sneaked into her nose, and she was in a trance. Suddenly, she saw a shadow slowly appear, and finally she was completely unconscious. The original noisy venue was instantly attacked by darkness. In the twinkling of an eye, the light reappeared, as if the dark attack was just a dream illusion. People gradually wake up, but feel headache. What's the matter? Why does it hurt so much? What happened just now? Are you all right? All of you speak to me, and there is a clamor around the challenge arena again. At this time, Jin Kangyan also woke up, looked at the scene in front of her, pondered for a while, and then put her eyes on Jin Yuyan. I don't know if she found anything. At the moment, Jinyu is competing with a very thin man who is not tall, wearing a thick blue robe, but the dragon has disappeared. No one seems to pay attention to this point. Obviously, they have forgotten the memory of the dragon. Among the crowd, Zhou Feiyu's sharp eyes were deeply angry. After a few rounds of inspection, he still didn't find the figure of Cloud Dance. The breath around him suddenly dropped to the freezing point. At the moment when they were in a coma, only 2 people disappeared from the crowd. Cloud Dance and Dragon Poor Evil. He was right. He was from the Beast sect. But they robbed Yunwu for a reason. Why did they take it with the dragon? Suddenly, Zhou Feiyu turned and left. Although I don't know why people don't remember about the dragon, but he remembers, he clearly remembers the feeling of the breath. If you find the breath, you will find Yunwu. But he didn't find that after he left. Jinyu Yen looked at his back and showed a very strange smile. Zhou Feiyu followed the breath for a while, and the breath became lighter and lighter. Finally, he had no direction to follow. 2 fists clenched, a touch of fighting air to split directly a tree in 2. Asshole! A roar resounded through the sky. Suddenly, a shadow suddenly appeared in front of his eyes. Zhou Feiyu's sharp eyes narrowed, and the smell of vegetation rose. In an instant, he was strong and fierce. My friend, how can you beat people regardless of what happened? Xiaowood side smile, that pair of scarlet eyes, red liquid faintly flow. A touch of silver-white light on the ground, sharp straight hit Xiaowood. Xiao Mu's figure twisted and dodged a blow, but the trees behind him were smashed to pieces. All of a sudden, sawdust diffuse, dust everywhere, a deep enough gully ferocious appear. Friend, is it too heavy to start? Xiao Mu looked at the ravine, like a jade-like mouth slightly pick. Where is she? Zhou Feiyu roared in a low voice, full of anger in his sharp eyes. Oh, my friend regarded me as a bad man, but I saw your friend taken away. Xiao Mu twisted the dust on his body, and his red eyes were strange. When Zhou Feiyu heard the speech, his sharp eyes narrowed into a seam. At that moment, he felt the breath on him. Now he suddenly found that he didn't have the breath. Did he have the illusion? But there is still a dark smell in the air. It's true that the man must have passed here. He looked at Xiao Mu, looking a little worried. Where have you been? Heading east. Xiao Mu pointed to the east direction road. Suddenly, the wind blows, a shadow passes, Zhou Feiyu has disappeared in place. The disease lifted the robe covered by Xiao Mu, and the face like a jade showed no doubt. He looked at the figure leaving, and his red eyes were dim. Suddenly, the direction of the strong wind in the forest changed and surrounded him. As soon as the phantom came out, he chased Zhou Feiyu. My friend, people have long gone away. You can't catch up with them. Xiao Mu follows Zhou Feiyu and reminds him kindly. Who the hell are you? Zhou Feiyu stops abruptly, turns around and roars at Xiao Mu. I'm here to help my friend. If you listen to me, you can save your friend. Xiao Mu's smile is very harmless. Zhou Feiyu congealed Xiao Mu for a long time and said in a low voice, I believe you for the time being. If she has any problems, I'll let you be buried with her. Let's not say that now we can't catch up. Even if we catch up, he is not sure to save Yunwu in that man's hand. Besides, he has no influence in the upper world, so he can only trust this man for a while. This man is too purposeful. He is either an enemy or a friend. If it is the enemy, there should be no need to appear at this time, so he thinks he can trust him for the time being. Since my friend believes me, I will not let him down. My friend will come with me and we will discuss the plan. Xiao Mu turned around. The breeze in the air suddenly changed its direction and swept him away. Zhou Feiyu was surprised to see that he could control the real wind and make it his own. What's the power? Not thinking much, Zhou Feiyu took a glance behind him, followed Xiao Mu and left. At this time, nothing is important, the important thing is to save Yunwu. Is the night, silent, moonlight pouring, as if plated with a layer of silver frost. There was no sound around in the dark, only a steady breath could be heard. A touch of moonlight poured down in the sky, shining on the man, just like a fairyland. Looking at the place where the moonlight came in, it was only as big as a bowl, which made it more desolate and desolate. And the woman who breathed steadily was lying in a psychic mask. The dark haze of the psychic mask was very strange. Suddenly, there was a change in the quiet space, and the woman lying in the space moved. When I opened my eyes, I saw the darkness in my eyes, followed by the weak yellow moonlight. Cloud Dance Willow Eyebrow Micro CU, exhausted the whole body's strength to be able to reluctantly sit up, star eye of the focal length gradually gather, a touch of cold panic looming. She tried to use her strength, but found that she could not lift any strength at all, as if her whole body had fallen apart, just like a useless person. The star Mao flits over a silk of danger, lift Mao a look, finally understood the present situation. Her power has been sealed, people have been imprisoned. In my mind, I suddenly came up with the abnormality of the moment when the martial arts contest was held. The dark cloud was pressing on the top, and all the people were in a coma, including her and Long Qingxie. At the moment of her coma, she seemed to see a strange figure. Is that the man who imprisoned her? Yunwu looks at her spiritual mask and frowns slightly. Although her power is completely suppressed now, she can still feel the powerful spiritual power of the spiritual mask. Even if the power is all there, it can't be broken. The star Mao flits over a dangerous doubt, where is here? In the quiet space, the sound of the hurricane is more and more clear. Then Cloud Dance saw that under the moonlight above her head, a black shadow suddenly appeared, just like a ghost appeared in front of Cloud Dance. When Yunwu saw the opposite person, the shock of the fundus could not be hidden. It was a man in a black robe with scattered black hair. You can see the face under the moonlight. The most obvious is the pit on the left side of the face, which seems to have been burned by the fire. It's ferocious and shining. And his numenon is actually emitting black mist from the inside out. Yes, the dark haze is emitted from his body. It looks like a fierce ghost traveling in the dark. I'm afraid it's more terrible and gloomy than a fierce ghost. You are the master of the Beast Gate? Cloud Dance Willow Eyebrow Tiny Pick, if not guess wrong, she is to see this soon. The man didn't answer. Instead, he took a step forward and stared at the necklace around Yunwu's neck for a while. After a while, he said, "Give me the holy things of the witch family." Cloud Dance Star Eyes Tiny Eye looked at the necklace on the neck, some doubts, if he wants not already got, still used to ask with her. Although confused, but still had to refuse, "I'm afraid this thing can't give you." In the moonlight, when Shangguanzhong heard the words of Cloud Dance, his face changed obviously. Doesn't he know what the sorcerer's sacred object is? Pondering for a moment, the figure of Shangguanzhong trembled, and the shadow had swept over the sky. When do you hand over the holy things, please see me? That voice, let a person have a feeling of despair, extremely devoid of people's hearts. Cloud Dance Micro frown, half ring, but finally understand a thing. I'm afraid the necklace around her neck is not what he said. The real thing is that even she doesn't know what it is. Since you see her, shouldn't you ask her for the temple map? Shouldn't we kill her? Why do you have to have a sacred object that you have never heard of? Is the holy thing important to him? Old Bai, can you hear me? Cloud Dance Mind Micro Motion, try to call White Old, although she also know White Old can hear, the probability is almost zero. Can't you hear me? Bai Lao, have you fallen asleep again? What's the matter? Since arriving at the upper boundary, Bai Lao seems to be sleeping all the time. After several times, Yunwu finally gave up. Now all the strength of the whole body has been suppressed, which is equal to the total loss of cultivation. It is estimated that no one can be contacted. Cloud Dance raises mouth to look at the miserable moonlight, the corner of the mouth tears to put on a miserable smile. Hello, equally miserable brother. I don't know how long Qingxie is now. The strength of Shangguanzhong is really immeasurable. After sealing her accomplishments, she tries to break through the blockade, but finds it useless. If you go on like this, don't you want to stay here all the time? Suddenly, her eyes lifted and her eyes swept out a fine on. How could she forget those little guys in the space? Although she has put those guys into the space, they can come out by themselves when they have nothing to do. Now that she has no accomplishments, can they come out by themselves? Hung Ling, Stinky, Bai Shuer, Lan Yu, all you can hear, get out of here. Yunwu tries to roar, hoping that her voice will be louder and then spread to the space, but only her own echo can respond to her. These guys, usually don't let them come out, maybe they will come out soon. Now they are allowed to come out, but none of them is visible. They don't clean up. Who's so annoying that you can't sleep at night? Suddenly, in the dark corner, a voice with anger came out, with the silence of the night, especially harsh. The cloud dances, the edge of the eye is swept, there are still people here. Suddenly, not far away, Yunwu found the man. I don't know. I'm scared. Isn't this the woodvine? At the beginning, she slipped under her eyes, but now she appears again. Should she say it's fate or evil? The opposite man sat up and looked at Yunwu fiercely. When he touched Yunwu's two-sided face, his face turned pale and pointed to Yunwu. You. I was caught. Cloud danced to see her stammer, not agile, sad, simply help him finish. Are you arrested? You are the summoner. The man glared at Yunwu and shook his head in disbelief. The cloud dance star's eyes were dim and said coldly, isn't the summoner human? Can't there be a miss? Man smell speech, obvious one Zheng. Then he nodded clearly. No one knows how deep the master of the beast sect is. Although she is a summoner, her strength has not reached the peak. What are you doing here? Cloud Dance looks at the vine, and a trace of doubt passes through her eyes. Since Shengguansheng imprisoned her here, it should be very hidden here. How could he appear here for no reason? I grew up here. How do you think I'm here? Vines have no good spirit of white. Cloud Dance one eye, words in some impatient. Cloud Dance lips angle fine adjustment, toward Vine pick eyebrow, in this case, you should know how to open this thing. She pointed to the power mask that instructed her to worry, and a touch of worry came out between her eyebrows. I don't know. Vine took a look at Lingli Hood and shook her head thoughtfully. Cloud Dance looked slightly cold, glanced at the vine, smile way, even if there is no cultivation, can also carry on the compulsory contract. Vina listen, the body suddenly as stiff, face instant a change, a long time later. It's easy and difficult to open this power mask. Don't talk so much nonsense, say it. The cloud dances and the willow eyebrows are horizontal. This guy is good at selling things. There is no gentleness of a woman at all. The man gave him a white look and muttered, in short, there's no other way but to open Shengguansheng for you. Smell speech, Cloud Dance eye ground a touch of frost emerge, this problem still use him to tell her, in that case, please do one thing. Cloud Dance looked at a man, the corner of the mouth raised a smile of gratitude. Looking at Yunwu's smile, with a calculating smile, the man knew there was nothing good, and immediately refused, don't ask me, I won't promise. It's not up to you to answer or not. The cloud danced across him. The man angrily rubbed Rand's stare. Cloud Dance, but also can't say what, who let her be his natural enemy. Besides, his home is here, but Yunwu's next words made him lose his chin completely. I'll contract you first, you go into the space, those guys find out for me, and then go out together. What? A loud roar came, and the dark and silent night turned. Roar? What roar? Cloud Dance willow eyebrow micro cu, eyebrow dyed a trace of displeasure, I advise you don't want to run, contract you contract. At the critical moment of life and death, no errand runner can do it. Those little guys are of great use. But what she didn't expect was that the wood element spirit beast actually grew up here. What on earth is this place? Cloud Dance raised mouth to see that bowl mouth so big hole, the forehead indistinctly appears a few white black line. The bottomless cave at the bottom of the gate of beasts. The man does not have the good spirit to stare at the Cloud Dance, obviously cannot let go to her to contract his matter. Cloud Dance slightly jaw head, ignore his attitude, any attitude can, let the contract on the line. So it's close to the secret base? Cloud Dance tentatively asked a sentence. It's a shortcut. It's a shortcut. The man stares at Yunwoo with some doubt, and looks up and down at Yunwoo. Make the secret base of Wangwoman a mess, or the witch saint they've been chasing, how can Shangguansheng keep you alive? Cloud Dance mouth slightly yawn, star eyes emerge a smile. It turns out that the mechanism discovered by Long Qingxie really leads to the sect of 10,000 beasts. It's strange to say that Shangguansheng didn't want the temple map or kill her. Instead, she was imprisoned. It's really puzzling. Does it mean that she was imprisoned just to wait for her to tell the whereabouts of the sacred objects of the witch clan? She also wanted to say that except for the necklace around her neck, she had never heard of the holy thing of the sorcerer. She wanted to ask Bai Lao that he had no accomplishments. What a tough road ahead. Did you turn the base upside down by yourself? The man looked at Yunwoo as if he was interested. Yunwoo actually saw a trace of worship in his arrogant eyes. She felt adored after that. Cloud Dance shook his head. There is another one, that is, the evil man who was with me that day. You go out to help me find him. If he is in danger, you must help me to help him. Just the two of you. He opened his mouth without exaggeration. He's been to the secret base. If it's not for a little guy's help, I'm afraid he can't get out of the secret base anymore. They can make a mess of the secret base by living alone. How is that possible? It's just that the deputy leader is extremely difficult to deal with, isn't it? The man looks at Cloud Dance suspiciously, with deep eyes. Does this woman really have the power of the witch saint? After looking at the clouds for a long time, he said, if he is not in danger. If there's no danger, I'll let him go to Nangong Yi, Shengguan and Qi Yi's. When they get together, I'll tell him what I'm doing. The cloud dances slightly to hang the star eye, the shallow show a touch of smile. Although I know that Long Qingxie can guess her situation at the moment, I still hope he can listen to her. It's too dangerous for him to come here alone. Affectation. The man was stunned for a while and snorted with disdain. Don't be so grouchy, contract. Cloud Dance willow eyebrow micro low, a man who comes so much nonsense. Yes, he's not the only one who talks a lot about men, but also the dragon. Yunwoo's face was a little dark. Suddenly, Cloud Dance mind must, finger space ring exudes a strange light, exudes the smell of vegetation. The next second, Yunwoo bit his finger and dropped the blood on the light. As the light continued to twist, the last drop of blood was completely absorbed. The man looked at the light and refused at first. Later, he didn't know what he thought of. He suddenly absorbed it into his body. This contract is different from the formal one in the past, but the effect is the same. He can accept the equal signing. Well, that's the only way now. Cloud Dance breathed a sigh of relief. If there is no cultivation, the contract can only be settled first. Although the contract is not in a hurry, this guy is moody and uncertain. Maybe he will run away. It's still safe. This is her only hope, although the light is similar to the pale moonlight. Go home. Cloud Dance willow eyebrow micro pick eyebrows toward men. The man looked at Yunwoo strangely and disappeared in the same place. Cloud Dance lips slightly a hook, a touch of almost gorgeous smile continued to bloom. After a while, all the little guys came out. Ma. Master. Little Stink, Hungling, Bai Shuer and Lan Yu all appeared, followed by the man just now. Ma. Little Stink cheers and shakes his body, kissing the clouds in a way that only belongs to him. Yunwoo looks at the little Stink, which is more and more close to human shape, and the feeling of being a wet nurse is more and more serious. Stand up for me. Cloud Dance pretends to be a murderous look, staring at the small Stinky roar. Small Stinky mouth a pie, very aggrieved, touch the way Cloud Dance that want to kill eyes, extremely reluctantly stand to Blue Yu side. Go out to find Long Qingxie, and then take him to find Nangong Yi and others. Yunwoo orders. Master, let's go together. Hong Ling looked at the Lingli mask that was holding the cloud dancing, and her eyes showed a sense of killing. The master is imprisoned. I'm fine here. I have food and drink. You can leave now. Then she looked at the man, eyes full of trust. Take them out. She naturally understood Hong Ling's mind, but the spirit mask didn't mean that she could leave if she left. Seeing the trust in Yunwu's eyes, the man was slightly stunned. Then disdained to take back his eyes, instant vegetation breath rise, all the little guys back to the space again, only in the blink of an eye, they will appear in the spirit mask. Cloud Dance looks at the man, the eye ground a silk frightens to pass by, this guy's ability still really some strange. Was he really willing to let her contract just now? It's strange. Do you have a name? Cloud Dance slightly frown, all adult form, also can't have a title. Men disdain to pick eyebrows, name is nothing, I don't need. Call it Shiteng. Cloud Dance ignored him and said the name she had thought of for a long time. Don't be so opinionated. As soon as Shiteng roared, a few sharp eyes swept in, just like a sharp blade. Shiteng looked at those guys' gloomy eyes, and the corners of his mouth twitched violently. He muttered something and stopped talking. Suddenly, a strange smell came near. Let's go. The cloud danced with a low voice. In an instant, the smell of vegetation around Shiteng was lifted, and the sharp warcraft appeared in front of Yunwu in the blink of an eye. The warcraft has a pair of rhinoceros horns, and 2 tusks are slightly exposed by its mouth. Although it is not very big, it is very delicate and sharp. At first glance, it looks very attractive, especially the eyes, which are sharp, bright and full of expression. Is this the warcraft form of Shiteng? At the moment of Cloud Dance meditation, several guys turned into a group of mirage and disappeared in the sky. That's not the speed. In the next second, Shangguan's Hung appeared again, holding a bottle with a dark purple on. The last side of Tsungyun Castle. On the other side of the quiet land, flowers are blooming all over the land, willow catkins are full of shade and fragrance. Among the flowers and grass everywhere, there stands a wooden house. Although the wooden house is not luxurious, it is extremely warm. On the bed of the wooden house, there lies a demon man, curious and sleeping. It's not the dragon. Who is it? I said, sooner or later you will belong to me. Jinyuyan sits at the head of the bed and looks at the dragon. Her bewitching eyes show a touch of tenderness. Although I know that I can't keep your heart in this way, the person who can keep you. The next second, white figure flash, say half of the words will be stuck in the throat, unable to say. Jin Yu Yen looks at the dragon Qing Xie who suddenly wakes up, and a trace of surprise appears in her eyes. How did he wake up? Long Qingxie's golden eyes darkened and untied the dumb acupoint for her. Who took her away? Jin Yu said with a sarcastic smile, you are so strong, go find it yourself. Suddenly, Jin Yu felt a chill on her neck. Long Qingxie pinches her neck, and her strength keeps increasing. Don't try to push my limits. You can treat women. In the middle of her words, she flew up in the air. Bang! With a touch of figure being thrown away, the table was shattered in an instant. Jin Yu murmured, her mouth overflowed with blood, and her body was hurt by the table. She could only endure the pain and could not move. Looking at the evil eyes of the dragon, he was painfully surprised. Only now did she know that he had no good habit of not beating women. Even if he did, he would only treat that woman. Long Qingxie looks at the blood at the corner of her mouth, and her golden eyes droop slightly. Is she hurt? Can you say it now? His hands were covered with black haze, and his golden eyes were bloodthirsty and cold, just like Satan. It was very rare to see the cold air around him. At least Jin Yu Yen hasn't seen it. In her eyes, he is evil but not so ferocious, he is cold but not so heartless. Even if I tell you where she is, you alone can't save her. I can only tell you that she won't be in danger for the time being. Jinyu clearly knew that if he was not reassured, he would really kill her, regardless of everything. Smell speech, Long Qing evil all around of icy recede a bit, play within the palm of the dark haze also disappeared. Where is she now? The gate of beasts. Jin Yu said in pain. Hearing this, Long Qingxie seemed relieved. If she was in the beast gate, she would not be in danger for the time being. He raised his eyes to see the sky, and his golden eyes narrowed slightly. Situ Lan, time has passed so long, should it come? Long Qingxie unties the acupoints for Jin Yuyan and then leaves. It's obvious that Jin Yuyan and the 10,000 Beast sect jointly made this matter. Beast gate for Cloud Dance, and she for him. Before he went to the challenge arena, he found that there were many followers of the 5-Star Club in the crowd. He wanted to fish in troubled waters and take him away, right? As for why he was not taken away, it should have something to do with her injuries. The sword eyebrow of Dragon Qing Xia is slightly wrinkled. That woman should be dead. The reason why she is still alive is just for this reason. If there is another time, he will not be merciful. Little thing, wait for me. 3 days later, it was in an inn several hundred meters away from the entrance of the upper boundary. Long Qingxie was sitting in the corner by the window, playing with the teacup in his hand. He was absent-minded and looked at the border from time to time, thinking deeply. Haven't you come yet? The sword eyebrow of Dragon Qing Xia is slightly wrinkled, and its look is a little complicated. Brother, are you waiting for your lover? A loose voice came with ridicule. Long Qingxie heard, thin lips slightly hook up, looking back at the man, long time no see. Situ Lan smiles and looks around. Junmei says, where's the little dance? I came here in a hurry because I was worried about Xiaowu day and night. Why didn't I see her? Dragon Qing evil smell speech, the corner of the mouth smile a little light. What, haven't you found her yet? Situ Lan did the opposite of Long Qingxie, and his eyes narrowed slightly. When is your efficiency so low? I found it. It's only in the gate of beasts. The dragon's evil golden eyes are indifferent, and the smile at the corner of his mouth outlines the danger. The gate of beasts? Situ Lan's face was startled when he heard the words. He looked at Long Qingxie's eyes, and then he seemed to understand. Do you mean this is the sect of 10,000 beasts? The dragon tilts its head slightly. Isn't that little dance very dangerous now? Situ Lan's eyes were worried. When he was in the lower world, the Beast Gate had been chasing Xiaowu. He thought it was the clan of the Beast Gate. Now it's in the hands of the real clan. It's half-life if he doesn't die. That's why I'm in a hurry to ask you to come. Did all her people come? Before he came to Shangjie, he made an agreement with Situ Lan. Let Situ Lan look at Zhou Feiyu first, and arrange Long Shugua for him. He knew that Zhou Feiyu would definitely come to the upper boundary. It was only a matter of time, so he told Situ Lan that if Zhou Feiyu left, he would bring up the killer corps and elite troops with him. After all, in the upper world, they need more power. 10 of them are downstairs. The rest of them are too big. I let them into the city. When can I save Xiaowu? Situ Lanjuan's eyes were full of worry, and it was obvious that he couldn't sit still. Wait a minute. Long Qingxie took a sip of the teacup, slightly sipped his thin lips, and glanced out of the window as if he were waiting for someone. Situ Lan nodded slightly, and knew that there must be something else for Long Qingxie. Downstairs, 2 handsome figures walked into the inn. One is wearing white gauze, indifferent and quiet, and the other is unrestrained and romantic. Nangong Yi and Shengguan look at the 10 people who are eating in the opposite direction, and their eyes pass a change. The 10 people were dressed in coarse cloth robes. They were very simple and their breath was very pure. They looked like villagers nearby. Maybe only Nangong Yi and Shengguan could know how terrible they were. Bai Qingshui's indifferent eyes glanced at them, but they were also a little surprised. Perhaps they didn't expect to meet 2 big acquaintances when they first came to Shangjie. Nangong Yi took back his eyes on Bai Qingshui, glanced at the inn, then looked at Shengguan and winked at him. Shengguan nodded slightly. As if they didn't know Bai Qingshui, they went straight to the second floor. In the same second that Nan Gongyi takes back his eyes, Bai Qingshui also takes back his eyes and continues to eat. Who are they? The other 9 people looked at the second man walking to the second floor. Friend of the host. Bai Qingshui is indifferent. Smell speech, people looking at their eyes a little surprised, corners of the mouth twitch for a while. Xing Xing's Bao continues to pick rice. On the quiet second floor, 2 different footsteps are approaching. It's time to come. Situ Lan looks at Nan Gongyi and Shengguan who are walking towards him. He picks his eyebrows at the dragon and shows a warm smile. Nan Gongyi and Shengguan take a look at Situ Lan at the same time, and then they sit at their tables. Any plans? Nan Gongyi looks at Dragon Qingxie indifferently, with a cool voice. In his eyes, he gave Yunwu to him because he didn't take care of her. If he couldn't take care of her, he would follow her all his life, take care of her and protect her. Long Qingxie's golden eyes droop slightly, and a faint and dangerous smile passes by the corner of his lips. It seems that he has seen through Nan Gongyi's thoughts. Internal cooperation and external cooperation, destroy the beast gate. Dragon Qing evil word by word, the smile of the corner of the mouth some bloodthirsty. Inside and outside? You mean little 5? Shengguan Junmei was slightly surprised. Who else? Long Qingxie said plainly. People look at each other, eyes are also incredible color. So this is the bridge section that you have set up for a long time. The upper official Mao color is deep, still some can't believe. Long Qingxie put down his teacup, stood up and went to the window. There was a trace of softness in his golden eyes and said, I know that the beast gate will appear. May she not take precautions? Sita glanced at Long Qingxie and sighed, Xiaowu's mind is heavy, but it's not so much behind you as a successful man. All 3 of them know the idea, and both of them must be involved. These 2 black-hearted guys want to upset the beast gate. I'm afraid the beast gate is really noisy this time. Did he inform you to come? Situ Lan glanced at the 2 officials. Nan Gongyi shook his head and said, someone gave us a hint. But everyone is good. Since it's Xiao Wu's plan, she'll be fine. She's the one who cherishes her life. Situ looked at Nan Gongyi, heard the words, slightly raised his mouth and nodded. But they didn't find that the smile of Long Qingxie's lips was slightly bitter at the moment. He has an idea, but his attention definitely does not include Yunwu being arrested. It's just that he can't change what the little thing wants to do. It's really hard to be worried about her safety while performing a full set of plays. Fortunately, all those who should have come, and the plan has been carried out smoothly. What's Xiaowu's plan? Situ Lan stood up and looked at the dragon's evil way. Long Qingxie turned around, thin lips slightly hook, there are super 5 elements protection around the beast sect. If you can't find the 5 elements, you can't go in at all, but there is one exception. Master of the beast gate? Situ Longjuan's eyebrows are slightly picked. Long Qingxie nodded, Yunwu got his blood. I went to have a try. It's okay. 3 people smell speech, look at each other, look a little surprised. With Xiaowu's current strength, she can never be his opponent. How did she do it? A look of admiration came from the bottom of Shengguan's eyes. How beautiful this woman is. Long Qingxie's golden eyes drooped slightly, and the corners of his lips were full of laughter, thanks to the speed of the little potato Warcraft. If Cloud Dance didn't let little Warcraft steal his token at the moment of coma, how could it hurt him? However, he was a little worried that little Warcraft hurt him, and he was unconscious. If that's the case, it's really troublesome. When Shengguan chats with Situ Lan, Nan Gongyi goes to Long Qingxie. Under the white veil, the plain eyes seem to have some complicated emotions. Why don't you stop her from taking risks? Long Qingxie sighed, who can stop her when she makes a decision? Nan Gongyi drew an eyebrows slightly wrinkled, plain eyes seem to have some helplessness, he said right, Cloud Dance to make a decision, they only try their best to help. How sure are you this time? Nangongyi looks at the dragon, and his words are calm and cool. Do you really think she's going to destroy the beast gate? Long Qing evil thin lips micro-hook, squint at him one eye. Smell speech, the South Palace is tiny to droop the eyelid, the indifferent eye and flit past a wipe of abnormality, seem to have already had the answer. Knowing that she would fail, how could she make fun of so many people's lives? It should be costly to do so. Nangongyi looked at the distance, holding the teacup finger slightly tight. If we don't make a fuss about the beast gate, this kind of pursuit will never stop. It will be much easier to break the claws and teeth of the beast gate. Dragon Qing evil sword eyebrows slightly low, and then turned to go downstairs. Although Yunwu didn't tell anyone why she suddenly attacked the beast gate, he could understand her pains. The biggest force under the beast gate is the Thunder Gate, and the influence of Thunder Gate in the upper world is self-evident. Just look at this martial arts competition, although there are not many experts, there are many hidden ones. One day, no one knows how many people will be able to work for the gate. Once the gate exists, there will be fatal dangers everywhere. Therefore, when they can't fully base themselves on the upper boundary, they can only remove the claws and teeth of the 10,000 beasts first. If they are only pursued by the 10,000 beasts, they will be much easier to deal with. But it's not easy to deal with the Thunder Gate. When dealing with the Thunder Gate, the people of the Beast Gate will arrive in time. Therefore, when the elite troops and killer regiment deal with the Thunder Gate, the task of holding down the Beast Gate is theirs. And the Cloud Dance is a bomb in the heart of the Beast Gate, which makes them unable to prevent. After the meal, the four of them joined the elite troops with the killer corps. You all understand the situation. Ling Xiantian, you take the elite troops to attack the Thunder Gate and use all the skills you can use. Long Qingxia looks at Ling Xuan's insipid way. Don't worry about me. Make Xian Dai tiny nod, cold eye ground flits over a silk definitely. By Qing Shui, you take the killer corps to sneak into the Thunder Gate. As for the specific battle, you should discuss with Ling Xiantian himself. Whitewater also slightly jaw head, cold way, rest assured, you must ensure the safety of the master. Dragon Qing evil toward him slightly jaw head, then look at the crowd. If you can make your master happy, we'll have a fight. You're back, you can rest assured to give it to us. These words also use you to say, small 5 is their master, desperately is of course necessary. The Shengguan glanced at Long Qingxi speechless. He didn't know why. When he heard that Long Qingxi was giving orders there, he didn't feel energetic. Dragon Qing evil golden eyes slightly down, just a smile, outline of the corner of the mouth has a trace of danger. If Yunwu was there, she would understand what was behind his smile. You go and get ready and wait for our signal. Long Qingxia looks at Bai Qingshui and Lingxian Tiandao. They nodded and hesitated a little. They seemed to want to say something, but they didn't say it at last. They turned around and left with their team. Long Qingxia looks at the two people who want to talk and stop, and the corners of his mouth are full of evil spirits. My woman, I will protect myself. Make Xian Dai white clear water smell speech, the footstep tiny stop, look at each other, show a touch of relieved smile, disappear in the distance. The 4 words of his woman changed the look of the 3 people behind him. I didn't find out before that when the 3 princes were still so numb, I really don't know how Xiaowu could stand you. Does Xiaowu love this one? Situ Lan looks at Long Qingxia and teases him impolitely. Long Qingxia chumua smile spread danger. See his smile, Situ Lan back spine schwa cool, knows so many years, his smile he is too familiar with. I'm kidding. I'm not serious. Situ Lan patted Long Qingxia on the shoulder, smiling unnaturally. Long Qingxia twisted his robe at will and lifted his eyes lazily. What did I say? Situ Lan's mouth twitched, this guy. What's next? Nangongyi opened his mouth, and some of his cool voice seemed to be impatient. Without waiting for Long Qingxia to speak, several people felt the abnormality behind them. At the same time, looking back, they could not catch the shadow. In the blink of an eye, the shadow 100 meters away from them had already stood in front of them. Are they? Shiding looks at Hung Ling and breathes. He looks tired. Yes. Blue Yu cold swept a few people one eye, affirmation of nod. Several people looked at the sudden appearance of a few guys, eyes are swept out a trace of doubt. Isn't this the contract beast of Cloud Dance? Why are you here? And this guy, who is he? The master asked us to come to you and let you go to save her. Bai Shuer looks at Long Qingxie with a trace of anxiety in her eyes. Where is she now? The dragon's evil golden eyes narrowed slightly, and there was a trace of edge at the bottom of the eyes. The master's cultivation has been sealed, and now he is imprisoned. Hurry to save the master, or I will eat you. Hung Ling opened his mouth and yelled at several people. Smell speech, in a few people's eyes all many a touch of complexity. Do it. Nangong Yi takes a look at Long Qingxi. It seems that there is no room for discussion in his words. The sword eyebrow of Dragon Qingxia is slightly wrinkled, and the undercurrent is surging in the golden eyes. It seems that he is thinking about something. What else do you think? I know too much about their style of doing things. If they don't kill Xiao Wu, it means that Xiao Wu's situation is more dangerous. Shengguan's eyes were cold, and he was worried. It was rare for him to be serious. Make up your mind. If you delay a little longer, the little dance will be more dangerous. Situ Lan followed the road. He knew that Long Qingxie must have his own plan, but the Shengguan was right. The 10,000 Beast sect wanted to kill Xiao Wu all the time, but now they have imprisoned her. Shouldn't they cut down the roots? How can they leave behind the disaster? Unless she's worth living. The more that, the more dangerous. Long Qingxie's sword eyebrows wrinkled slightly, and Jin Mao thought for a moment. He raised his eyes and said, Go ahead, Shengguan, Nangong Yi and Situlan. You three go to Wanhuimen base and stop Shengguan from supporting them. Although the secret base was made a mess, the destruction only caused a little damage to the base. There are too many things they don't know about in the base. It's more certain that Shengguan will follow. Where are all three of us going? Situ Lanjuan's eyebrows are slightly wrinkled, and his eyes are a little confused. What does this guy think? Are you going to save Xiao Wu alone? Even if you save Xiao Wu, can you stop the whole family of beasts? I'll go with you. Nangong Yishengguan spoke at the same time. Long Qingxie glanced at the three people, with a bloodthirsty smile passing at the bottom of his eyes. I don't have the habit of letting others save my women. But forget it, let him go. He's more secretive and quick on his own. Situ Lan interrupts Shengguan. He knows that there must be something behind Long Qingxie. He can't make fun of Xiao Wu's life. When Shengguan heard the speech, he said nothing more. Nangong Yi didn't answer all the time, but he could feel his indifference. They don't refute, because they know that Dragon's evil spirit cares more about Cloud Dance. If there's something wrong with her, you're not qualified. Before he left, Nangongji said this to Longqing. His tone was flat and cold. He couldn't hear any change, but he had a weight that people couldn't ignore and forget. Looking at the figure of the three people leaving, the corner of Long Qingxie's mouth lifted a cruel and bloodthirsty smile. Bring this to her. Long Qingxie gives the heart-shaped pendant to Hung Ling. With it, he can find her at any time. Won't you come with us? Bai Shuer frowns slightly and doubts every move of Long Qingxie. Shouldn't he be most worried about his master? Why is he so calm? Shouldn't he rush to save his master? Why not? Tell her to keep her alive, and at the same time, I'll do whatever I have to do. The white shadow passed and disappeared in the distance. Several guys looked at each other, looked at the pendant, full of doubts. Go back first. The man loves your master so much that he won't let her do anything. Shiding looked at a few tangled guys, some irritable, one by one is what IQ. Not your master. I don't know if I care. If I talk too much, I'll beat you. Go back by yourself. Stink, braised Warcraft. At the beginning of dawn, the hazy sky was white. In the quiet and dark cave, the moonlight has retreated, and a pale shadow has been reflected into the dark cave. Yunwu looks at the purple bottle in Shengwen's hand. He has a bad feeling in his heart, but the corner of his mouth is still smiling. It looks like a good thing. It's really good for you. All of a sudden, Shengwen's laughed strangely, and the air around him became darker. In the deep of Cloud Dance's eyes, passing a trace of worry, what's in the bottle? The next second, a touch of dark power will control her. She struggled a few times, but found that it can't move, star eyes looking at the purple bottle slowly close to her eyes, deep cold. Do you want her to drink? If not, the mouth cannot be controlled by a force to pry open. The next moment, a cold liquid into the mouth, all the way across the throat, and finally stay in the abdomen. The power that held her down disappeared. Cough. Cloud Dance's choked big cough to rise, lift Mao to glaring at go up official grave. What do you give me to drink? Shengwen's took a look at the purple bottle in his hand, and his strange smile reappeared. At the beginning, your mother also drank this. I don't know what reaction you will have after drinking it. Yunwu was surprised. Her mother. Where is she now? Don't worry. I'll arrange your meeting soon. With the black breath shaking, the purple bottle was gone. After Shengwen's gave her a cold look, her figure disappeared. Yunwu looks at the bottom of the cave where the silence is restored again. Suddenly, she is in a trance. The feeling of uneasiness in her heart is more and more obvious. How can she feel a little confused? Is it something in that bottle that works? There was a buzz in her mind, which was like someone grinding a brand iron in her head. Ah! Yunwu suddenly felt that her head was going to be blown open by the sound, and the whirling of the hum made her unable to resist. The scene in front of her was blurred, and all the scenes were red like blood. The light is red, the stone wall is red, close your eyes, the darkness is red, everything is red. She defends Buddha to be driven mad by that scarlet everything, the suffocation helplessness of that moment makes her on the verge of madness. What's the drink for her? Ah! The voice of pain resounded again, the voice of horse-tearing roar. Yunwu holds her head in both hands, twisted painfully on the ground, and twisted the willow eyebrows together. At the moment, she has no way to drive away the pain. Suddenly, a black figure came quietly and landed on the outside of the spirit mask. Looking at the Cloud Dance's painful appearance, the man's eyes were extremely cold. However, just at this time, his hand brushed, a touch of dark and strange breath through the spirit mask, instantly surrounded the clouds. It seems that the power is relieving the pain for Yunwu, and Yunwu also feels the power from the outside world, trying to endure the pain and absorb the power. After a long time, the scarlet color in Yunwu's eyes gradually faded, and the buzzing sound that made her crazy also disappeared. Although she tried hard to keep awake, she still fainted. The shadow watched Cloud Dance get better, and then stopped. At this time, Yunwu's face, which was pale and bloodless, was even more white and frightening, and a touch of bright red liquid overflowed from the tight corners of his mouth. Try to let that power awaken the bite in your body. With a ghostly voice, the figure has disappeared in the cave, as if it had never appeared. In a half-coma, Yunwu heard that sentence, and she began to do as the man said, leading the power in her body to Dantianchu, trying to melt it into the power of magic bite. Daughter, here you are at last. Who is it? Daughter? Are you calling her? Yunwu frowned slightly, her eyelashes trembled, as if she could not wake up. Suddenly, she saw a vague figure, just called her is that person, right? Who are you? She could not see the man's face clearly, but she could see it was a woman. Is it her mother? Daughter, when you grow up, I know it will come one day. Huang Yingying looks at the Cloud Dance, just like the voice of a warbler, which is euphemistic and beautiful, clear and thorough, as if it is the best voice in the world. Cloud danced slightly frown, surprised. You are a touch of ghost. Huang Yingying nodded. My existence is to wait for you. I know that the beast gate will find you and will not let you go. So when you were tortured by this thing, you left a ghost? Yunwu was a little surprised. What a deep mind. Huang Yingying sighed slightly. Her voice was clear and euphemistic, just like a zither. It's soul water. After being tortured for 3 days, it will be controlled. Unless she dies, she will never be able to recover her sense and consciousness. It's like the soul has been taken away, so it's called soul water. Then you're Numenon. The cloud dances in surprise, and the desire for words stops. Don't worry, daughter. My body has fallen asleep. He can't wake me up. Huang Yingying smiles, which is the most beautiful smile that Cloud Dance has ever seen, just like peach blossom blooming. At that moment, the sight seemed clear. That's why he wants to control me to get the news of the sorcerer's holy things. If Shengguansheng wants to control her, she can only find this reason to explain. Is the sacred object of the sorcerer really a big threat to him? You want him to take her and control her. That's why I didn't ask the others to tell you about the holy things. What's the threat of the holy things to the beast gate? Yunwu is very confused, and seems to have a vague answer in his mind. It's the only thing that can destroy the beast gate and Shengguansheng. Just another thing is needed for the holy thing to exert its power. Yunwu found that the ghost seemed to be more and more blurred. It was not that her vision was blurred, but that the ghost was blurring and seemed to be disappearing. I'm waiting for you just to help you out of control. My time is almost up. I'll help you recover your accomplishments first. Remember, don't fight with the beast gate. You are not their opponent now. The next second, a yellow light appeared, just like the golden sun, which immediately surrounded Yunwu's body. The light continuously penetrated into Yunwu's skin, then to the bone, and finally to the dantian. At this time, there seemed to be some power in her body. Cloud Dance star eyes mi, the corners of the mouth burst out a smile. It's the power of magic bite. Just now that person delivers to her strength, on the contrary awakened the evil bite again, her smile of enchantment, Mao Guang Yishan, awaken of just in time. Cloud Dance uses magic power to absorb the yellow light faster. With the yellow light absorbed, she feels that her power is almost restored. Remember what I said, you must live well. The shadow was so shallow that the outline could not be seen at all. Where is the holy thing? What else is needed to make the holy things work? Don't hurry to disappear. I haven't finished my question. Find me. Half a word fell into the cloud, and the ghost completely disappeared in her mind. Cloud Dance slightly frowned. Find your what? Well. Yunwu opened her eyes and was about to get up. Her headache made her cry. Lift eyes to look at the top of the head of the light. Cloud Dance lips slightly hook, during the day. Then she looked around as if she were looking for something, but in the end she found nothing. Who was the shadow who helped her before? At that time, her consciousness was vague, and she could not feel the breath of the man at all. She could only vaguely see a blood-red shadow. The only thing that could distinguish him from a man was his words. Now in retrospect, the voice sounds familiar. Who is he? Why help her? Yunwu tried to recall the sound in his memory, but because of the hum just now, his head seemed to explode when he thought about it, so he had to put it down for a while. Think of just that wiped ghost. Cloud Dance lips cape then involuntarily hook up. Shengguansheng 1000 calculate 10,000 also didn't expect her mother would put a wiped ghost in that bottle. If it wasn't for this ghost, what might have happened to her at this time? This mother could have saved her life. But then again, just that shadow gave her strength also awakened the evil bite. It seems that no matter what, today she is doomed to die. I don't know what happened to Long Qingxie. Even if she is not the opponent of the Beast Gate, it is imperative to destroy the Thunder Gate. I don't know if Long Qingxie has found Nangong Yishengguan and Qi Yi's. I hope he can use Qi Yi's power to deal with the Peihong Gate, and the rest of them will hold down the people of the Beast Gate. According to the forces of Qi Yi Se, it's almost the same to deal with Pei Hongmen, isn't it? Now it's hard to deal with Pei Hongmen, but she can't be chased by people every day. It's just the Beast Gate, but now it's the peeping eyes of the Pei Hong Gate and tens of thousands of experts in the upper world. She's also worried. When she expected that the Beast Gate would attack her, the plan appeared. However, Qianswan and Wanswan failed a little. She didn't expect that Shengguansheng would capture her, and she didn't expect that Shengguansheng would bring her to the family of beasts. Fortunately, she blocked up and got the blood from Shengguansheng. I just don't know if the blood vessel doesn't work. Can Dragon Pour Evil come in? If not, she can't get out. Yunwu looked up at the big hole of the bowl and sighed. As for the result, it depends on whether God helps her or the Beast Gate. But now she has to pretend that she hasn't recovered her cultivation, wait for the news of Dragon's evil, and pretend to be controlled when necessary. All these need acting skills. Suddenly, the entrance of the cave was dark, and a touch of wind and shadow suddenly came to the outside of the spirit mask. Ma. Little Stink danced cheerfully on Shiding's back, and Fat Duda's paws waved to the clouds. Have you found anyone? Cloud Dance helplessly looked at the smell of enthusiasm still, and then swept to other people. Several guys nodded at the same time. Lan Yu took out the heart-shaped jade pendant from his arms and hung it in his hand. Xiang Yun said, Master, he asked me to give it to you. As soon as Yunwu saw the jade pendant, he knew who he was in Lan Yu's mouth. He raised his eyes and said, Where did he go? Lan Yu shakes his head and says coldly, I don't know. He just says that you can do whatever you want. He'll make a fuss. Everything has him. After hearing the words, the corners of Cloud Dance's lips are slightly pursed. Now that he said that, she didn't have to worry about anything. She looked up and said, Is there any way to open this power mask? Shiding glanced at Yunwu, his eyes were contemptuous, Can't you open it yourself? This spiritual mask was condensed by Shengguansheng with his own strength. Who can be Shengguansheng's opponent here? Cloud Dance gives a cold hum and stands up to look at the power hood. After a week, he takes Lan Yu back into the space. The next second, Lan Yu appears in the power hood. Give me the pendant. Although I don't know what Yunwu will do, Lan Yu still gives Yunwu the pendant. Cloud Dance looks down at the pendant with a warm smile on her lips. The pendant has saved her life in the jungle. Now it should be able to get rid of the shackles of the power mask for her, right? It should be the same meaning of Dragon's evil. The next second, Yunwu's palm raised a touch of purple fighting spirit, which gradually penetrated into the heart-shaped pendant. After accepting the purple fighting spirit, the pendant suddenly changed color. Just like in the jungle, a powerful dark force constantly condenses in the pendant. If you are not careful, you will lose control. Cloud Dance looks at the huge power condensed in the small pendant, and a trace of surprise passes in her eyes. Last time, she only knew that the pendant saved her life, but she didn't know where the power in the pendant came from. Now she can see it clearly. That power, unexpectedly, is Dragon to Pour Evil. And Dragon are as like as two peas. Willow eyebrow micro wrinkle, star eyes extremely complex, this fool, do anything to hide from her, everything like a person to bear. This haze power should be 1/3 of his internal strength, right? In this way, has his cultivation weakened? Even if it doesn't weaken, its strength will not be as good as before. Cloud Dance heart like 5 flavors miscellaneous bottle general, looking at the pendant tightly held in the palm of the hand, fingers are slightly white. No wonder he didn't come with these guys. No wonder his strength hasn't been improved. Slightly closed star eyes, Cloud Dance take a deep breath, try to calm their complex mood. Now is not the time to think about these. That stupid man needs her. Suddenly, the power in the pendant is inspired by the fighting spirit, and a dark light fills the narrow space instantly, which is already dark, just like the night. Yunwu suddenly opens her eyes, takes the 5 guys into the space, burns the flame in her palm, and lets her power merge with the dark power to break the power mask together. Pa! There's a crack in the psychic mask. Cloud Dance's eyes leaped with joy, another hit. Bang! With a loud noise, the earth moved and the rocks rolled in. The cloud dances in the eye to brush over a silk surprised, twinkling of an eye is fleeting, then the corner of the mouth a young, purple phantom instantly disappeared in the sky of the hole, looking back, under the body of the stone cave gravel everywhere, still constantly collapse. Almost. That was a defeat. Cloud Dance watching with, micro frown, the strength of Shengwenzhong is really unfathomable. She will Shideng release space, in different way, let this home become a memory. Shideng looked at his home, which had been living for so long, turned into ruins in an instant. He was a little surprised in his eyes, and then glared at the Cloud Dance. He really showed no mercy to other people's memories. Although he was a little angry, it was obvious that Shengwenzhong had set up the power mask herself. She actually one shot to break. It seems that she really has the strength to fight with Shengwenzhong. I haven't asked you, how can you live at the foot of the Beast Gate? Yunwu looks at Shideng, and doubts emerge at the bottom of his eyes. What do you mean I live at its feet? I came first, okay. Shideng was a little angry and said it as if he was the one who made a fuss. This place belongs to him before. Smell speech, Cloud Dance I ground flits over a touch of meditation, so say you are looking at 10,000 beast door to establish. No, I was in cultivation at that time. The West Teng mouth corner slightly draws. So when you wake up, the Beast Gate will exist? Cloud Dance slightly pick eyebrows. Shideng wanted to say something, but he didn't say it. Finally, he nodded his head. How much do you know about the destruction of the witch clan? Cloud Dance eyes tiny eye, all things in a mess, the emergence of Shideng seems to give her a clue. Isn't everyone aware that the witches are in civil strife and colluding with the Beast Gate to overthrow the witches? Shideng frowned slightly and looked at the deep eyes of Cloud Dance. In the deepest part of the eyes, he was hesitant. Cloud Dance mouth slightly young, seems to see through he wants to play Tai Chi with her. He's hiding things that ordinary people don't know, even things that she doesn't know. Why must the Beast Gate destroy the witch clan? Don't tell me you don't know. Cloud Dance in different vision swept West Teng one eye, the corner of the mouth smile some danger. Shideng absolutely knew what she didn't know. This guy was a spirit beast of wood. He was transformed into a human form so quickly. Either he had been practicing for a long time or he had absorbed external forces. Should it be the latter, she guessed. He should also be a beneficiary in the war between Wanwoman and Wuzhu. The West Ting Mao light one zheng, then White Cloud Dance one eye, you ask so many things about the Wu clan why? It doesn't seem to have much to do with you, does it? Because I am a witch saint, is that enough? The Cloud dances toward the West Teng, picking eyebrows slightly. As her voice fell, Shideng fell into complete rigidity. After a long time, he pointed to Yunwu and moved his mouth a few times. He was surprised that he didn't hold a word. You a witch saint? Cloud Dance slightly jaw head, lips aside a smile, this simple reason for violence seems to work. Can you say it now? Shiteng Wei pondered, his eyes changed a little, and finally he had a serious attitude towards Cloud Dance, leave here first. I'm not going to leave like this yet. Cloud Dance glanced at Shideng, and the corner of his mouth was cold. The taste of the soul water is still lingering in her heart. If she doesn't toss about in the Beast Gate, she feels sorry for herself. What's important is that everyone should be ready for her side. Are you really going to fight with the Beast Gate? Shideng looks serious, and stares at Yunwu with some doubts. He believes that she is not such a reckless person. Yunwu nodded, but let him fall into silence, after a long time. Don't you think about the people you love and the people who love you? Shiteng's forehead is wrinkled tightly. Now he's fighting with the Beast Gate. It's like beating a stone with an egg. He will die and lose. It's for their sake that we have to do it. The Cloud dances and laughs, and the smile is cold. Your goal is not the Beast Gate. Shiteng seemed to understand for a moment, and his eyes were shocked. I said that, didn't I? Yunwoo looks at him with an eyebrow. Shiding's face turned black, and there was a little worry in the bottom of his eyes. Who do you want to deal with? Thunder Gate. You can't imagine the power of the Thunder Gate. Even if you hold down the Beast Gate, your current power is not their opponent at all. Shiding is worried and tries to stop Cloud Dance. Do you think that the Gate of Beasts can keep the gate free? Can Pei Hongmen itself be idle? There are people chasing you everywhere. Can you be happy? Can you sleep well? Cloud Dance looks at him. Her eyes are clear and frosty. She is chased by such a big force before she can stand firm in the upper world. If she is in a hurry, she can only work hard with him. Just like this competition, Jin Yuyan informed one human that she would appear, so one human designed a bridge to catch her. She had only two choices, either to run or to stay and wait to be caught. Oh, what an ironic choice. She can only scold you thousands of times in her heart. So she designed a third choice for herself, to destroy the Peihong Gate, which is regarded as a beast by the people in the upper world. The people in the upper world have only heard of it, but have not seen it. Although its own power is big, it can't stir up other forces in the upper world. This is much easier to deal with and much fairer. She wants to let 10,000 Beast Gate know, even if it is to strike a stone with an egg. She also wants to leave a touch of fishy smell on his stone. A touch of the smell that can't be washed away makes him wary every time he smells it. After hearing her words, Shiding thought for a long time and didn't speak. She's right. It's true that the biggest obstacle at present is the Thunder Gate. You really have a good identity. Shiding looks at Yunwoo sarcastically. A contract beast satirizes the master here. I'm tired of skewing you. Go back to the space. On the boundless top of the cloud sky, there is a vast expanse everywhere. Jinling flies in the air and lands on a mountain under the command of Yunwoo. Yunwoo stands on the top of a mountain, looking at the black spots in the distance, and drawing a bloodthirsty arc on his lips. Is that it? This clan of 10,000 beasts, a place floating on the top of the cloud. Her location is almost several kilometers away from the family of 10,000 beasts. It seems that the family of 10,000 beasts is as big as a house, but she finally knows why 5 elements are necessary to enter the family of 10,000 beasts. Around the black spot, there are 5 kinds of magical lights. Those lights are surrounded by dark forces, which are obviously controlled. Red, white, silver, purple, gold, 5 colors, 5 element colors. She had a premonition that there must be a huge secret hidden in the family of 10,000 beasts. Otherwise, why did Shengguansheng only allow him to go in and out by himself and not allow others to come out? It's helpless to say that she has been in Shengjie for such a long time. It seems that she has been among the 2 forces, the Beast Gate and the 5-Star Club, and has no chance to contact other forces. Can't there be only 2 forces in the upper world, the Beast Gate and the 5-Star Club? It's a deal. If she can retreat completely this time, she must accept the influence of several oxen and forks, and then send the Beast Gate and the 5 stars to hell. The hell of eternal reincarnation. As soon as the purple figure swept away, it sped away in the air. The shadow in the distance was getting closer and bigger. After a while, Yunwoo came to the place where the 5 elements protected the Beast Gate. Cloud Dance looked at the Beast Gate in front of her, slightly surprised. Is this the black spot just now? Is that exaggeration? Its length nest in the beautiful white clouds, cannot see the edge, the width of a full 100 meters, and the height is as high as the modern 3-story building. The shape of the house doesn't look very scientific. Yunwoo takes out the heart-shaped pendant, the palm power surging, and the heart-shaped pendant instantly emits light. At this moment, the jade pendant on Long Qingxia's body has sensed the change. Dragon Qingxia, a few kilometers away from the Beast Gate, looks at the change of the pendant, thin lips and slight hooks. Has it started? And he is still standing in place, not in a hurry, seems to be waiting for something. In this clan of the Beast Gate, suddenly a strong wind came in the air, and raised the cloud dancing skirt. The skirt was in the air, accidentally touched the 5 elements, and instantly turned into foam. Cloud Dance looked at the skirt place, sensed that it was torn off a piece of robe, star eyes swept out a touch of dangerous breath. The spirit power of these 5 elements is so weird. If you try hard, you will be ground into pork. I don't know if the blood of Shengguansheng can open the 5 elements. Yunwu takes out a jade bottle from his arms, ponders for a while, turns his palm, and puts the jade bottle in the protective cover of the 5 elements. Pa! The jade bottle turned into powder in an instant. Cloud Dance looked at this scene, the fundus of his eyes was startled. In the same second, a drop of blood in the jade bottle was scattered among the 5 elements. Yunwu looked at the strange scene and frowned slightly. The shield formed by the 5 elements actually opened a hole. The cut was just where the blood was dripping. Yunwu had no time to think about it. She jumped into the gap. Just 1 second after she entered the gap was restored to her original clothes. She looked back at One Eye, mouth slightly yawn. Dragon Qing evil should also be able to come in, right? Yunwu glances at the beast sect, only to find that there is no one guarding the outside of the sect. Then she gives a cold smile. Yes, who can come in with this protective force? But she didn't know that a pair of eyes in the dark were staring at her and knew her every move like the back of her hand. The purple phantom passed by and disappeared in the same place. When Yunwu sneaked into the family of Wanwoman, the dark breath of Wanwoman became more and more dignified. Looking around, the whole Wanwoman seemed to be much darker because of this breath. It's really unexpected that such a dark place should fly above the white clouds. However, this kind of protection and terrain and environment, if you want to attack, it is absolutely impossible. Unless you can have something to defend and break the air. Quang quang. In the cloud dance all the way into, suddenly, a burst of extremely fast and manic Ming sound came out. Cloud Dance flashed into a dark corner almost instantaneously. The interior of the beast gate was much quieter than imagined, and suddenly a sound sounded, as if it had been magnified countless times. This kind of strange feeling, Cloud Dance felt all over the body. Sweat hair were thrilled. Heart scold, what things so frightening. Quang quang. The sound came back. Cloud Dance slightly frowns, the eye bottom sweeps a trace of doubt, how to listen to seem to be the sound of the chain impact. At this moment, a few people in black robes came across from Yunwu. For a moment, Yunwu felt that there were more people inside the beast gate. It seems that it has something to do with the voice just now. At this time, the 3 black-robed people walking across the street, their eyebrows slightly lowered, seemed to be talking about something. Cloud Dance tries to hide its own breath and figure. Is the president back? Here we are. We are in the hall now. Let's get there quickly. It's said that the president has brought some treasures to the headmaster this time. Let's go to see the treasures. Baby? What good treasure can there be in the lower world? Who knows, but it must be a good thing that the president can bring back. Also, 3 people a word I language, walked by the Cloud Dance side. Unexpectedly no one found the existence of Cloud Dance. This is really a little strange. You know, if you can be a member of the family of beasts, it's nothing to be afraid of. Cloud Dance frowned, eyes swept around, because just now, she actually felt in the dark, as if something was staring at her. But for a second, the strange feeling disappeared again. When she swept around, she didn't find anything unusual. Is it her illusion? No, she never felt wrong. So someone was staring at her? Or has she been watched since she entered here? If so, it would be a little scary. But she entered the family of 10,000 beasts for a while, and there was no other movement from the person who was staring at her secretly, which only showed that she was safe for the time being. Unexpectedly, she would be rude. The purpose of her visit is to make trouble, which makes the people of all animals tremble. Of course, what interests her at this time is naturally what the 3 black-robed people just said, the treasure brought back by the sect master. Cloud Dance figure flash, with the direction of the three people, lurking away. And she didn't know, just when she turned her head and looked around, the person in the dark was stunned. Unexpectedly, she was so alert. Through that corridor, into a spacious pattern of internal, is the conference hall. At this point, in the conference hall, in addition to Shengwenzheng, there are several white-bearded elders and some black-robed people in the conference hall. Judging from their clothes and manners, it seems that they also have a great position in the family of beasts. One of them, a black-robed man with a fierce face and a dark smell, was standing in the middle of the hall. But at this time, the most noticeable thing is not the man in black robe, but the huge red fire dragon in the huge transparent cover beside the man in black robe. The original majestic dragon's limbs were separately handcuffed by the black iron, while the dragon's head was tightly pressed on the ground by a huge iron ball, forcing it to kneel on the ground. In addition, countless small iron balls and chains are tied to the dragon's tail. Whenever it wants to struggle angrily, it makes a loud bang of the chain and the ball. Can want to break away from the Millennium Black Iron, with the suppression of the power of the transparent cover, no matter how it struggles, are in vain. Roar. The roar of the dragon was weak, but it was still very angry. The black-robed man standing next to the transparent cover heard the angry dragon roar, and his angry face raised a smile. Then he looked up at the Shengwenzheng sitting on the high position. Suzerain, all the things that the lower world is going to do have been done. By the way, the 8th prince of the dragon has been brought back. In addition to allowing us to have new blood, we can just use the 8th prince of the dragon to trade with the dragon clan. It turns out that this black-robed man is Lei Li, the president of the previous 3 black-robed people. As the president of the management side of the 10,000 Beast sect, his status is naturally not low. When Shengwenzheng heard the words, a strange radiance appeared on the half of his pockmarked face. It turned out that you brought it back. I'll leave it to you to deal with it. Don't kill it. Lei Li laughed and nodded respectfully, yes, suzerain. Just as he was about to leave, Lei Li suddenly remembered something and looked up at the Shengwenzheng. Yes, Lord, I forgot to report one thing. What's the matter? When dealing with the Cloud family in the lower boundary, one of his subordinates killed the Cloud Lingyi and seriously injured the old man of the Cloud family. The body of Cloud Lingyi didn't come back and was thrown to the Wanku cliff. He just brought the old man back. What should we do? According to his investigation, it seems that what Yunwu cares about is the old man of the Cloud family. To threaten, one is enough. Yun Lingyi was so ungrateful that he ended it directly. Of course, he still needs to be more tactful in front of the patriarch. When Shengwenzheng heard the words, his face didn't change much. In his eyes, those people in the lower world are just like ants, and they are not afraid at all. As for the Cloud family, it doesn't matter whether it exists or not. I've caught the people who are dancing in the clouds. In the future, you can handle such trifles by yourself. Shengwenzheng looked at the Lei Li and said something low. And his words, naturally let the presence of several old men and Lei Li are Leng. Got it? Why didn't they get the wind? But seeing the Shengwenzheng, the old man and Lei Li who were in a daze at the scene soon recovered. Their patriarch came out in person. The effect was really frightening. Yes. Then I'll do it right away. Lili Layden nodded respectfully, then brushed his hand, shrunk the transparent cover, put it in his ring, and turned away. But did not expect, this scene, all of the hidden in the door that beam on the top of the figure to see in the eyes. When Lei Li retreated, Shengwenzheng suddenly looked in the direction of the door and frowned slightly. His mental strength suddenly toward the door, but did not feel the slightest difference. Is he oversensitive? At this time, outside the hall, a dark shadow stood in the dark corner. The red eyes just glanced at the position of the beam. After a silent sigh, the shadow turned and left. That's all he can do. Through the long corridor, into the back of the case, surrounded by black iron walls. Because I was in this sect, I didn't see many black-robed people walking along the way. It is estimated that the number of people who can enter this sect is much less than those in those branches. However, as soon as he stepped into the scope of the iron wall, Lei suddenly stopped. Without looking back, the voice full of bitterness and coolness rang out, "It's time to show your face after following me for so long." Hidden in the boundary of the cloud, after hearing the sound, the eye passed a haze of color. But also did not hide. After removing the border, the purple figure suddenly appeared behind him. After leaving the hall, Yunwoo felt that the person staring at her secretly didn't follow up. Without that person's help, she would be found sooner or later. However, she came in to make trouble, so there was no need to hide. However, what she never thought was that the people of the Beast Gate actually destroyed the Cloud family, killed Yunlingyi, and arrested her grandfather and Red Fire Dragon. She can endure anything and care nothing, but only the people she cares about and her relatives, she can never endure. You. When Lei turns his head to see the cloud dance, he is obviously stunned on his angry face. It seems that I didn't expect that he was followed by such a beautiful girl of 18 or 19 years old. Just, when see her that pair of purple pupil Mao, the fundus of the eye is angry for a flash suddenly, cloud dance? How can you escape from the captivity of the patriarch? Did you hand it in yourself? Or shall I pick it up myself? Yunwoo's voice is extremely cold. Lei smelled speech, stretched out his hand to touch the ring that was holding the Red Fire Dragon, but the corner of his mouth opened a touch of radiant. "I didn't expect that you girl's tone was quite crazy. Want to take it in person? I'm afraid you won't have this chance." "Is it?" In Yunwoo's eyes looking at Lei, there was a cold feeling like looking at the dead. "Let's try today to see if I have this chance." Almost as soon as her voice fell, several rays of light flashed out of Yunwoo. Summoner. When Lei saw the 5 figures flash out, a look of surprise flashed in his eyes. Although, for the news of Cloud Dance, the whole people of the Beast Gate have heard about it and know that she is a summoner, but the feeling of seeing it with one's own eyes is totally different from that of hearing it. Unexpectedly, she is not only a summoner, but also a multi-department summoner. I'm not surprised. It's absolutely fake. Master. Ma. Master. Hongling, Zailukaku, Lanyu, Baekshuir, Shideng, and 5 figures immediately stand beside Yunwoo. Hongling, stink, don't you say that it's not fun to keep you in the space recently? Today, let you enjoy playing and destroy as much as you can. Hongling and Xiaoqiu, together, the destructive power of that mischief is no less than that of a later period of Wuzong. Really okay, we're going to. As soon as Yunwoo's words fell, Xiaoqiu immediately jumped and directly sat on the ferocious Hongling. With a smile, he drove Hongling to play. Lan Yu, Bai Shuer and Shideng, choose their own directions. I want you to bring back Ben to me. The voice of Cloud Dance is extremely cold. Yes. After the tacit understanding of the 3 answers, they suddenly turned into 3 lights and disappeared in 3 directions. The only one left is Yunwoo. As soon as the surprise in Lei's heart passed, he naturally became alert, and his sword flashed out. You sent all your contract beasts away. Do you think you can be my enemy with the strength of your middle period of Wuzong? Although the words say like this, but, Lei looks at in the eyes of Cloud Dance, it is to pass a touch of deep greed. This Cloud Dance is the status of a witch saint, plus a summoner. If you can capture and train it for your own use, how can it help? Thinking of this, Lei couldn't help feeling hot. Yunwoo, you should know that with your strength, you are not my opponent at the top of Wuzong. Besides, your grandfather is still in my hands. If you can be loyal to me, I will not treat you and your grandfather badly. Not to mention my grandfather, Yunwoo's anger can be suppressed. But now, the bottom of my heart that anger, as if can no longer hide. That pair of extremely cold purple pupils, as if in an instant were covered with red silk, dyed with a strange scarlet. Yes, is that right? 2 words, elongated, slowly spit out. As soon as he turned his hand over, a black air came out of the air, and a big sword appeared in Yunwoo's hand. At the same time, it brought a strange howling of the sword. Who? The sword, which was attacked by the fire of death, brought up an inexplicable chill in the moment of whistling. Lei saw her big knife, frowned, and her face changed slightly. She retreated a little subconsciously. What's going on? This cloud dance is clearly the strength of the middle period of Wuzong. At this moment, he felt a dark breath of terror from her, and let him feel a force of oppression from the bottom of his heart. At this time, the cloud dance, the original purple pupil, turned into a scarlet and strange color, full of a dark air. She knew that the power at this time was the power of the second awakening. At this time, Yunwu didn't bother to talk with him. He saw that the sword in his hand suddenly fell away, died with extreme darkness. When Lei felt the power, his face changed. That power is. Before he finished his stuttering, he immediately aroused all his strength and stood in the way of the enemy. Ka! A crisp sound of debris rang out. Lei Tong's eyes widened. He looked at the sword in his hand in disbelief. It was like a picture of broken glass. It's made of black iron, and its effect is just like the fossil of Warcraft that has been imprisoned for thousands of years. Was it smashed? Brush. The sword was awe-inspiring. As Lei's face changed, his figure retreated and flashed away, but he was left with a deep blood hole. How can you have the power of magic bite? Staring at the eyes of Cloud Dance, I was shocked. What is the meaning of the power of evil bite? It's impossible for the people of the Beast Gate not to know. The cloud dances, the corner of the mouth is bloodthirsty and cold, on the big knife in hand, a mass of black fog diffuses and flashes. He didn't answer his question, but still said coldly, "Give me the ring. You give me the power of the evil bite, and I'll give you what you want." Lei's original horror was soon replaced by the greedy gloom. A girl, even if she has the power of evil bite, can't play much effect. Otherwise, she won't have the strength of the middle period of Wuzong. However, if it comes to him, he can definitely play a full explosive force, and at that time, why should he just be a small president? In the face of strength and power temptation, a man will not have much resistance. What's more, in front of such a big temptation. At the end of Lei's speech, the strength of Wu Zongfeng was completely lifted in an instant. He wrapped himself in the moment. His hand turned and a sword condensed with Yuanli was in his hand. This time, Yunwu obviously felt his breath, and the pressure increased a few points. Yunwu sneers at the bottom of his heart. He wants the magic power on her. He's a bit of a dreamer. Even Shenguansheng didn't want to deprive her of the evil power in her body, but just wanted to control her with soul water. However, Cloud Dance didn't open her mouth, so she stared at him quietly with her scarlet eyes. "Little girl, don't test my patience, otherwise, not only you will suffer, but also your grandfather will suffer." Lei's cold eyes were fierce, and the fierce air of Wuzong's peak rose. Yunwu could feel his threatening oppression, his breath was fluctuating, and his steps slowly stepped back. And her small action, in the eyes of Lei, naturally thought that Yunwu was afraid of him. "Some charity-like mouth, as long as you give me the power of evil bite, in submission to me, I will not only release your grandfather, but also save your life, and guarantee you endless glory and wealth in the future. If you want power, the gate of Beast Gate will be opened for you at any time." Poof! Yunwu couldn't help laughing. Surrender to him. Save her life. Splendor. This man's head is so funny. Or did he really see himself as Jesus in the world? What are you laughing at? Lei's face was angry and frowned. Cloud Dance raised her eyes, and the corner of her mouth was a very cold radiant, while the scarlet eyes were stained with a touch of irony. "I was thinking that the dog of Shenguansheng barked like a female dog. It was very harsh. Well, since you're shameless, I'll see what you can do to be crazy in front of me." Lei became angry, his breath suddenly rose, and his figure flashed strangely towards Yunwu. The peak strength of Wuzong is quite strong in the eyes of ordinary people. Even in the air, you can feel the pressure. However, Yunwoo gave a very cold sneer. As soon as he moved his feet, his body was like a ghost brush. In the blink of an eye, he avoided the breath. Just you little girl, you want to avoid my attack. When Yunwoo dodges his attack, Layli sneers and hums coldly. He takes advantage of the attack in his hand. The clouds are cold, but the corners of the mouth are open. Originally dodging figure, actually in the Layli pursuit attack, but not dodging the frontal attack. At that moment, Guwu Dageo was suddenly enveloped by an extremely dark atmosphere, and the space elements were also infected with Yunwoo at that moment. Brush. The sound of piercing the air. Layli looked at the sword in his hand and directly pierced Yunwoo's body. Although a pity flashed through his eyes, it was more violent and comfortable. He is the youngest president of the clan. Who dares to call him a dog? Although it's a pity that you can't get the support of Magic Bite, if you can't use it for yourself, you can't keep it. However, in the next second, Lei Li's eyes suddenly widened. Puff. A flesh and blood pop suddenly sounded in the quiet air. Originally, the figure of his sword disappeared in the air in a twist. On the contrary, in front of his eyes, the beautiful face suddenly appeared. And that ancient martial arts big knife, inset his that abdomen without vigilance, straight into the back. Blood. Soon it's all over the place. The smell of blood gradually spread out in the air. Who said that the peak of Wuzong could not be killed in the middle period of Wuzong? The scarlet eyes of the clouds seem scarlet when they touch the smell of blood. The voice, word by word cold, gently brushed the thunder's ear. Lei Li Tong's eyes widened, staring at the cloud dance, and his anger seemed to be more and more intense, with reluctance and fear. However, he is not willing, but cannot. Because, at the moment when Guwu dagger was inserted into his abdomen, the dark evil breath surrounding Guwu dagger directly intruded into his body and directly corroded his internal organs. The pain of corrosion directly empties his power. With the burning of the dead fire, even if he doesn't die for a while, it's only a matter of time. Even if he is not reconciled, he can only stare at Cloud Dance to show his unwillingness. Wuzong Peak, he is Wuzong Peak. So defeated in the hands of a teenage girl, and, what moves are not out, was a knife to solve. Where does this make him famous? Lei Li wants to struggle, wants to fight, but the Cloud Dance moves faster, the body shape retreats one by one, the big knife brush in the hand pulls back forcefully, at the same time, the big knife accurately cuts directly toward Lei Li's wrist with the ring. Ah! Under a scream, the dark black ring with blood has been sucked into Yunwoo's hands. Mental force to explore, want to see the ring in addition to the red dragon, her grandfather is also imprisoned in the ring. But Yunwoo's mental power has just been explored, but it is suddenly rebounded by a strange breath in the ring. A stabbing pain suddenly in her mind. Cloud Dance can't help gnashing one's teeth, trying to endure the tingling and dizziness. Damn it! What's going on? It's a special contract ring. Different storage rings, the owner of the ring is still alive, and your strength is not the peak of Wuzong, so your mental power can't enter the ring. Don't force yourself to enter, it will cause your mental power to backfire. At this time, the dark voice of Hyo in the Chaos Hall suddenly sounded in Yunwoo's mind. The contract? Cloud Dance and hear the words of black pride in the brain, can't help but frown, but not much tangled. In this world, there are too many things she doesn't know. Although this ring looks no different from the ring of storage space, Hyo will say that. Naturally, it can't be wrong. It turns out that if there is a master in this contract, it can't be detected. Just kill the master. Next second, the scarlet eyes of Yunwoo fell on the ground, pressing Leitian's body with his cut hand and abdomen. I wanted you to try to wait for death, but I can't detect the contract when you are alive, so I have to give you a ride. The voice said coldly and heartlessly. Once the Cloud Dance hand turns, the dark breath of the ancient martial arts sword is once again attacked. Lei Li pupil mouths shrink, the face of the fierce spirit has to lose blood excessively of pale, you don't force a person too much. Too much pressure. The cloud dances, the corners of the mouth are slightly raised, but the smile can't reach the eyes. Why didn't you feel that you were deceiving others too much when you destroyed the Cloud family? Moreover, he said he killed Yunlungi. Although, she did not feel much about Yunlungi at the beginning, even disgusted. However, the father-daughter relationship is that blood is thicker than water, which exists in the blood. That is her father. The anger at the bottom of my heart still exists even now. Layli smell speech, pale face suddenly turned to Ian Ruthless, strong support body corrosion pain, stood up from the ground, at the same time, rich murderous gas instantly from his body. Well, it seems that you don't care about Yunqi's life. In that case, even if I die, I will take you to bury me. Layli's violent voice fell, and his figure disappeared in the same place in an instant. Layli knows that under the condition that his body is being eroded by the power of evil bite, it's impossible for him to face the enemy head-on. He can only play the hand of sneak attack from behind. Cloud Dance eyes a cold, mental power in an instant gushed from the body, suddenly toward the diffuse and open in all directions. Brush. The sharp sword suddenly flashed out, and a sword roared in the air. The sword had been stabbed at Yunwu's back. The speed is absolutely too fast to cover your ears, and it has disappeared into Yunwu's body. Layli looked at the scene, pale face raised a smile of proud and angry. He's Layli, the oldest president of the Beast sect. Even if he dies, it's absolutely impossible to let his opponent go. However, the next moment, Layli suddenly couldn't help staring. How possible? I saw that Layli's sneak attack and stabbing action was still maintained, but the Cloud Dance, which was originally penetrated by the long sword, disappeared in a twist. Shadow? No, it's impossible. He clearly felt the real penetration. How could it be the afterimage? Even if he was injured, but he is still very confident in his ability to deal with girls who are 2 levels weaker than himself, how can not fail? However, the figure disappeared in front of us was clearly placed in front of us. Layli was in a state of shock. Looking at the shadow that had disappeared in front of his eyes, he couldn't react for a moment. Since you don't want my life, I'll take it. The cold voice sounded like a ghost. At that moment, a cold stabbing pain came from Layli's neck. Layli's pupil shrinks and he swings his sword towards the sound source. But when Layli wields his sword, the cloud figure turns into a remnant shadow. The strange speed is really frightening. However, Layli, poof. Blood, such as a column of general spray, originally just a bloodstain on the neck, suddenly Canthus opened a blood hole. Blood gushed out. Even if Layli wanted to cover his neck, he didn't have time. At the moment of his death, his eyes were still wide open, with a touch of horror. Bang! The tall body finally fell to the ground. At this time, the Cloud Dance just flashed out from the space elements, with cold eyes glancing at the corpse on the ground, without any emotion. This just took out just that Neji, mental power detection and go. Inside, it's a huge space. Under the detection of mental power, only the red fire dragon pressed by the black iron was seen in the transparent cover, and there was no Cloud Chi. Cloud Dance can't help but frown, but also try to release the red fire dragon from the transparent cover. But she found that the spirit can enter, but there is no way to move the things inside. How can Hyo release the red fire dragon? It's very easy to be the master of Neji. To be the master of the ring. However, what you should think about now is not the dragon, but the coming Shangguanshong. Shangguanshong. The Cloud Dance of smell speech is one lang. But soon, she felt the smell of fast approaching from a certain direction. Girl, I have to tell you something. Even in my heyday, I'm not sure I can win this Shangguanshong. Your strength is still far behind. You need to think about it clearly. This period of time, although Black AO has been in a state of silence. But it doesn't mean that he doesn't know the current situation. With her strength and power, it's still a long way to go if she wants to fight with the Beast Gate. Even in the heyday of Hyo, there was no way to win Shengguanzhong. Cloud Dance cannot help a sign, frown up. That Shengguanzhong's strength is really unfathomable, but she has never seen through the strength of this black pride, let alone his heyday. He can't even win this Shengguanzhong. What level of strength has Shengguanzhong reached? However, the reason why Hyo said this to her was that Yunwu naturally recognized it. He is to let her do what she can, her strength is not an opponent now, so there is no need to hit the hard, the loss is still her own. If she did, she would be able to escape immediately. As the saying goes, she is not afraid of no firewood. However, when she learned that her grandfather was arrested, she had to save him even if she didn't have to. Otherwise, she can't guarantee that her grandfather will live to the future with the way of 10,000 beasts. The Cloud Dance feels that the breath is getting closer and closer, the space elements are shrouded in an instant, and the boundary is also covered on the body. I want to hide the rising breath as much as possible. But, at this time, suddenly, a strange smell came from behind her. As soon as Yunwu's face changed, Guwu's sword suddenly flew out and attacked the air behind him. Hey, my friend, it's me. Don't get excited. Be careful with the knife. An innocent voice suddenly rang out. And the big knife in Cloud Dance's hand, unexpectedly uncanny from the side of that figure, slanted past. Xiao Mu's red eyes hidden under the black robe, with a trace of innocence, stare at the Cloud Dance. However, at this time, so strange power has been shrouded in the two people. At that moment, Yunwu's breath completely disappeared between heaven and earth. Not to mention Shengguanzhong, even if it is the god, it is hard to detect it. Cloud Dance slightly narrowed her eyes, staring at the black robe shrouded Xiao Mu. There was an undercurrent in the bottom of her eyes. This breath, it's him. When she entered the family of 10,000 beasts, he was the one who had been following her secretly. Originally, Yunwu was not sure, but as soon as he got close, the strange smell on him was so unique that it was hard for Yunwu to be uncertain. However, without waiting for Yunwu to speak again, Xiao Mu suddenly stretched out his hand and made a shush to her. The next second, several black-robed figures suddenly swept from the distance. Shengguanzhong is the leader, followed by several white-haired elders. Lord, look, that's Chairman Lei. A touch of astonishment rang out in an old voice. When he saw Lei Lizzie, who was wiped on the ground, his face sank slightly. Then, one by one, strong breath suddenly spread around. Seems to be looking for clues about the killer. But a few strong detection breath, back and forth from the Cloud Dance and Xiao Mu body over several times, have not been investigated any movement. If there is no Xiao Wood's breath to cover up, Yunwu hides his own breath. It is estimated that he has been detected for a long time. Suzerain, there is no breath left. It seems that the person who made the move is very powerful, but how can outsiders enter the suzerain? This must be thoroughly investigated. Another old man opened his mouth in a low voice. Yes, the entrance and exit of our 10,000 beast sect are always hidden and regular. If there is an outsider entering, we really need to thoroughly investigate. The elder with white hair on the right side has a dignified face. The existence of 10,000 Beast Sect is not just the existence of 10,000 Beast Sect headquarters. If it's really entered by outsiders, it's really serious. Shengguanzhong's gloomy eyes glanced at the silent Lei on the ground, and his eyes finally fell on his chopped wrist. Soon, his pupil was obviously narrowed, and the black haze on his body seemed to be a bit thicker. It's her. Who is it? Seeing that the patriarch spewed out two words for no reason, the three old men on the scene all had doubts in their eyes. However, if the patriarch said those two words, it means that the patriarch already knows who the person is. Suzerain, do you want to send someone here? Bang bang. However, before the old man finished what he said, suddenly, several explosions came from the far right. Not for a while. Boom. The sound of fire and thunder came from the other side. Boom. At the same time, in several other places, there was also the sound of explosion and the sound of security report. It seems that all the news came from all directions at once. What's the matter? What happened? The three old men frowned when they heard the news. They were about to call someone to ask what happened. There was no need for them to open their mouths, and soon the black-robed bodyguard came from several directions. Lord, Elder, it's not good. There's a fire warcraft invading. It's attacking the herbal hall. Suzerain, the Wu Hall in the south has been attacked by a strange wind system object, and is spreading to the east hall. Lord, the west hall was attacked by a man who used ice to attack. Suzerain, Gaonan Hall has also been attacked by people who use the wooden attack. Boom. At the same time when the four sides came to report, suddenly a shaking sound of bombing came from the air. Looking up, I saw a few figures standing high in the air in the distance. One attack after another directly attacked the outer protective cover, causing a loud noise. Suzerain, someone is attacking. One after another, with the sound of bombing, it seems that they want to join in the fun, and the sound comes from all directions. Several old men's faces were a little ugly for a moment, but Shangguan's strange face with half-covered black hair still kept its indifference. She even sent it to her home. Let her know whose territory it is. The voice of gloomy cool, very calm General rang out. Immediately, the figure of Shangguan's swept away. Several old men looked at each other. The next second, the corners of their mouths seemed to have a smile arc. Let's go and have a look. In the twinkling of an eye, several figures disappeared in the same place. The cloud dance hidden in Xiao Mu's strange breath locked his brow tightly. It's not so easy to deal with this beast sect because of its different distribution. There are too many hidden things that you can't imagine. Let's leave now. Xiao Mu suddenly opened his mouth. Leaving? Cloud Dance can't help looking at Xiao Mu, but there is an undercurrent in the bottom of the eye. Since you can enter the family of beasts quietly, you must know a lot of things. If you are a friend, can you ask you one thing? Xiao Mu's red eyes under the black robe stared at the Cloud Dance for a long time, then nodded. Say it. Help me save my grandfather. Even if you can't save him, please keep him safe. She still can't understand the origin and strength of Xiao Mu. But she always felt that Xiao Mu must have that ability. My friend, your request is very difficult. Xiao Mu seemed to frown under his black robe, but he soon sighed again. However, you should admit that I'm a friend, so I can't let you down. Okay, I'll try my best, but there's one thing I have to tell you. It's okay for me to leave here, but if I take a mortal to leave, I can't help it. It means that he can only guarantee Yunqi's safety. In fact, this is enough. As long as Yunqi is safe, she will be able to rescue him sooner or later. My friend, according to what I promised you last time, you helped me destroy the beast gate in the south, and I'll give you the dragon tornado fragments in hand, although later forget it. This time, I'll take it as a gift for my friend. Here it is, Xiao Mu said, throwing a piece of broken black iron to the Cloud Dance. Cloud Dance aleng, but still quickly catch. As soon as she caught the black iron in her hand, the tornado in the Chaos Hall trembled obviously. Immediately, she felt a heat flow coming directly from her palm and into the tornado in the Hall of Chaos. The other corner of the tornado seems to have been repaired, and a lot of the information seems to be more perfect, as if, with some magical atmosphere. However, Cloud Dance did not have time to feel. After throwing the fragments of the tornado to Yunwu, Xiao Mu's body flashed strangely and disappeared in a corner. Cloud Dance takes back the line of sight, feels the dark iron which has been voided in the hand, and there is an undercurrent in the bottom of the eye. Perhaps, this time really some anxious entered the 10,000 beast gate this clan to come. However, there is no way to regret what she has done. What's more, her destination this time is the Gate of Thunderbolt. Boom. In the distance, suddenly came a hit, like what collision attack sound. It's Hongling. They stink. After sensing the breath, Yunwoo didn't hesitate. Her body suddenly jumped up in the air and quickly went in which direction. The 100-grass hall has been destroyed and half incomplete, and the smoke is billowing everywhere. But at this time, Hongling, who had recovered the huge and ferocious body, was facing the Shengguansheng with the big petal canthus of its tusks. Let it go, or I will eat you. But Shengguansheng seems to turn a deaf ear. His strange eyes stare at the little stink that is more and more like a human figure in his hands. The corners of his mouth are slightly raised. The hybrid of Phoenix? What hybrid? For Warcraft, the least favorite word is which one? Although little stink is still young, some things are born to feel the meaning of the words. In a moment, the sharp teeth of the small mouth cracked, and the claws waved. You are a hybrid, I'll bite you to death. With a roar, he bared his teeth and gnawed at the hand that held him. Deep into the skin, blood flow. But at that moment, little smelly face suddenly changed, almost in an instant to loosen the teeth. Ah, it stinks. The disgusting smell of the stench directly flows into the whole mouth of the little stench, and it also carries a force of erosion, which makes the little stench's face turn white instantly. Shengguansheng had no feeling for the wound on his hand. Just a few seconds later, the dark red wound healed completely. Now that you're here, come out. Suddenly, Shengguansheng raised his eyes and looked at a corner. I didn't expect you to have healing power. The cloud dance walks out from the corner, and the cold eyes look at the Shengguansheng without any evasion. To tell you the truth, seeing the healing power of Shengguansheng's wound, Yunwoo fell to the ground and was shocked. You know, Stinky is not a normal Warcraft. The wounds it bit out were all corroded by strong fire elements. What's more, at the beginning, it also sucked 1/3 of the original fire in her body, and the fire elements it carried could be of different levels. But Shengguansheng didn't feel anything. The wound healed in a few seconds. I'm afraid the healing power is not as fast as that of the dragon. I didn't expect that you could resist the soul water and break free from my imprisonment. Shengguansheng stares at Yunwoo, but he can see a trace of unhappiness and gloom from his gloomy eyes. The three old men behind Shengguansheng were surprised when they heard the words. Soul water? Can this cloud dance resist soul water? No, you know, even these old men can't resist the power of soul water. What's more, when her mother wanted to resist, she finally let herself fall into a coma and couldn't wake up. However, the cloud dance seemed like nothing happened, and sneaked into our camp. What kind of monster is cloud dance? Master. As soon as Hongling saw the cloud dance, she called happily. The little stink that Shengguansheng held in his hand was also an excited cry, Ma Ma. However, Cloud Dance did not answer, but the heart read a move, fire contract ring flash. At that moment, the little stink that Shengguansheng seized suddenly turned into a red light and disappeared in Shengguansheng's hands. Feeling empty in hand, Shengguansheng's brow suddenly wrinkled. Master, this ugly monster is so hateful. Kill him. Hongling bears its big petals, sharp tusks and straight molars. It's as if there are clouds dancing around, and the confidence has hardened. But Yunwoo raised her hand to stop Hongling from speaking. Instead, she looked at Shengguansheng. This Shengguansheng is too calm, which makes Yunwoo feel flustered. You sent people to destroy our cloud family? Cloud Dance looked at the Shengguansheng, voice is very cold, mouth asked. That tone is like a normal inquiry. The corner of Shengguansheng's mouth raised slightly, with a touch of gloom. There are very few people who can question me face to face. I can't imagine that you are quite like your mother and have courage. Is it? The cloud dances and the corner of the mouth rises coldly. But the next second, when I turned my hand, the ancient sword suddenly flew out of the air, and the dark breath in the air seemed to be deliberately released. The breath of the devil bite. The three old men could not help but stare at Yunwoo in surprise. Why do you have the smell of evil bite? Are you not a witch? One of the old men stared at Yunwoo in disbelief. It seems that from a witch people, I can feel the smell of evil bite, as if it was a shocking thing. However, for Cloud Dance, she doesn't feel much about it, whether it's sorcery or magic bite. She only cares about what she cares about. Give my mother back, maybe I can think about this in exchange for some magic bite. Cloud Dance stares at Shenguansheng, as if talking about a business. Shenguansheng smells speech, that gloomy face, but suddenly smile deepened a few minutes. Exchange? In my beast gate, there has never been such a word. You are not as smart as your mother. At the end of the speech, the smile of Shenguansheng suddenly sank, the black fog all over his body suddenly rose, his body moved, and he went straight to the clouds. Yunwu seemed to have expected his action. He moved his foot and stepped back 2 steps. The ancient martial arts sword attacked and dyed the dark atmosphere, and cut away. Brush. The sound of a sharp knife cutting through the air. But the next moment, Yunwu's face changed. Be careful. In the distance, before a voice fell, a picture changed in front of me. The figure of the black robe, like a ghost, appeared in front of Yunwu. The cold hand, dyed with a layer of dark fog, came straight to Yunwu. The movement looked as if it had slowed down. However, in fact, it is too fast to be caught by surprise. As soon as Cloud Dance's face changed, it suddenly jumped up the back mountain and covered with space elements. Hiss. The sound of clothes being cut and torn by sharp tools. Yunwu's neck extended to a pair of shoulder neckline, was cut a long hole, a bloodstain stained with blood red oozing from there. Shenguansheng did not go further, but just stood there, looking at the white figure from far to near. Dragon Qing evil figure in a flash to the moment, white brush, coat directly set in the Cloud Dance body, covered her half-do snow muscle and wound. Are you all right? Deep concerned voice, very light brush Cloud Dance ear side. Cloud Dance as if did not feel the shoulder that tear open wound, the corner of the mouth outlined, I'm okay, you're done. Well. Shenguansheng's gloomy eyes looked at the dragon. When he saw his golden eyes, a strange undercurrent flashed by. It's the young master of the evil family. The little master of the evil family? Is this man the little lord of the evil clan that the 5-star society has been looking for? 3 old men smell speech, that in the eyes all swept a surprised undercurrent, however, not surprised. In the original image, Yunwu and Longqingxi were originally the same. However, the appearance in the image at that time was obviously not the handsome and evil appearance in front of us. When the dragon heard the evil words, the evil spirits in the corners of his mouth were full of evil. It seems that the master of the beast sect has good eyesight. On the half-destroyed face of Shenguansheng, he opened his smile and said, Is that right? It's a normal conversation. But the next second. Be careful. Cloud Dance eyes a cold, Guwu de Dao Ling clenched. But before her hand, the deep magnetic voice of the evil spirit of Long Qingxie swept past her ears, with your man, you stay quiet. When the black-robed figure of Shenguansheng came, the white figure of Longqingxi had already passed by. In an instant, I saw a black and a white to the light, set off a fierce collision in mid-air. Flying 2 to the light, very fast and strong, in the air constantly fight, fierce murderous gas instantly shot out in the air. Sharp Yuanli spread most of the air, strong breath, see Cloud Dance can't help but heart up. However, Cloud Dance did not have any hesitation. Hung Ling. A drink, heart message. Hung Ling, who was watching the battle on one side, was like being beaten with chicken blood. The original huge and ferocious shape suddenly turned into countless willows and opened to the surrounding Baichao Hall. Many of them, with little cannibals, attacked the 3 old men. When the 3 old men entangled each other, the cloud-dancing figure immediately wrapped up with wind elements and quickly flew over the sky. 10,000 Beast Gate is outside the protective cover. Shengguan, Nanganji, Yaqiz, Situ Lan and even Zhou Feiyu were there. 5 people are concentrated in one position, attacking the same point with all their strength, as if trying to break the shield. Get out of the way. Cloud dance in the air, a loud cry. The 5 people outside the shield didn't actually hear any sound, but they all backed away tacitly. Yunwoo's hands turn up, water element and fire element spring up from her palm in a moment. Her hands snap together and the 2 elements merge. But in the next second, wind elements spring up. Cloud dance didn't even think about it. Suddenly, it buckled the wind element towards the double element ball of water and fire. The strong repulsion is spread in Yunwoo's hands and heart, which makes Yunwoo tingle all over. But that's what Cloud dance wants. Feel the 3 elements together, and produce incomparable repulsion, catch up with more and more intense. Cloud dance didn't even think about it. She took out the last drop of Shenggunsong's blood from the space and put it into the element ball. Suddenly, she quickly threw the element ball that she had just snapped into her hand towards the point where Shenggunsong was attacked. Boom! An explosion, accompanied by the earth shaking, suddenly set off over the whole beast gate. I saw that the explosion in mid-air aroused countless Mars, and a terrible aftershock. Outside the protective cover. Shangguan and others seemed to feel the shock from the protective cover. Damn, Xiaowu's element ball is too powerful. Why didn't she use it before? Yes, I knew Xiaowu had such a move. Let's just let her drop a few of them. Why use her sucking strength to smash them here? Situ Lan's eyes brightened and looked at the crack that appeared on the transparent cover under the explosion of the element ball. It seems very exciting. However, Nangong Yi's face sank. The integration of 3 elements will exhaust her too much power, and, you see. As soon as Nangong Yi's words fell, the original crack healed quickly under a strange black fog. When Shengguan and others saw him, his face changed. What are you doing? Attack quickly. Seeing this, Zhou Feiyu almost instantly aroused his whole body's strength, and without hesitation, he immediately attacked the healing crack. Shengguan and others reacted and quickly attacked again. However, the crack seems to have no change. Still in the rapid healing, the integration of the 3 elements obviously consumed Yuanli, which was known before Cloud Dance, so generally she would not take such a risk. But if you can break that shield, it's worth the trip. But when he saw that after the aftershocks of the bombing subsided, the cracked book was healing, and Yunwoo's face also changed. I didn't expect you to know how to integrate elements. You really surprise me more and more. At this moment, a voice came from behind. The Cloud Dance heart is startled, turn round instantly. Shenggunsong didn't know when he was standing behind her. He was so close that he could kill her, but she didn't have time to react. She didn't feel his approach. This is the most terrible thing. Originally, I wanted to be gentle with you, but you have chosen this road yourself, so you have to bear your own choice. Shenggunsong said in a gloomy voice, but there was a strange anger in his eyes. It seems that the steady breath becomes fierce in an instant. The black fog around him became thicker and thicker, and the clouds that came into contact with it seemed to be stopped. Suddenly, Shenggunsong's cold hand quickly grabbed at Yunwoo's neck. Brush. A cold light came, with a strange dark light. Shenggunsong originally stretched out his hand, but he didn't avoid it. He was shot through by the dagger. Yunwoo wants to take the opportunity to retreat, but the black fog imprisons her action strangely. Damn it! What the hell is this Shenggunsong? But at this time, a hug suddenly came from his waist. As soon as he turned around, his body was taken away from the black fog of Shenggunsong. You little thing, you are becoming more and more disobedient. The magnetic voice came from my ear. Yunwoo turns to look at the man around him, but when he sees the mess on his body, his heart suddenly trembles. I saw that there were many wounds on his body, which didn't look very serious. However, those wounds were stained by black fog, and they were cracked and couldn't heal. This is as like as 2 peas in the dark night. No, it's not the same. There was erosion in the black fog of Shenggunsong. I didn't find it. I found that the wound of Longqingxi was stained with black blood of carrion. Damn it. Cloud Dance's face couldn't help looking ugly. But soon, Yunwoo almost subconsciously opened his white coat, revealing the wound on his shoulder. No erosion. Cloud Dance saw blood red on his wound, no black blood carrion, obviously was not eroded by the black fog. A flash of light flashed through my mind. As soon as I turned over my hand, I immediately grasped a dagger in my hand. Without any hesitation, the blade has passed his other hand. What are you doing? Long Qingxie frowned. However, Yunwoo didn't say anything. As soon as he stretched out his hand, he put it on the wounds on his body. Hiss. A very subtle, but apparently fried zzz sound came from the wounds of Long Qingxie. Severe pain attack on the dragon, as if by the oil roll in general. But Long Qingxie didn't do anything. She just looked at the cloud quietly, and let her hand touch the wound on his body, and let the pain of Canthus wash away. He believed her completely. And when the pain slowly receded, the original tear-like pain on the wound, actually felt gradually began to heal itching. Long Qingxie was stunned and looked down at the wound on his body. It seems that the blind cat really hit the dead mouse. Cloud Dance looks at the wound that Dragon Qing Evil is healing gradually, can't help but hook up the corner of the mouth. Unexpectedly, the blood on her body could eliminate the corrosion of the black fog on Shengguancong. On the other side, Shengguancong looks at Yunwoo's action, and his eyes shrink. It seems unexpected that she should find the efficacy of her blood. But he didn't do it. Instead, he lowered his head and looked at the dark dagger that was inserted on the back of his hand. There was no pain on his face, but his eyes were more and more angry. The power of darkness. While the dagger twitched from the back of his hand, dark red blood oozing. But in the twinkling of an eye, the wound on the back of his hand was completely healed. If it's not on the back of his hand, there is still a little dark red blood. I thought the wound on his hand was an illusion. Cloud Dance and Dragon Poor Evil to see his that healing ability, all not from the bottom of the heart sink a few minutes. That healing ability, too fast. Moreover, no matter what kind of wounds were made on him, he didn't seem to feel any pain at all. This Shengguancong is too weird and terrifying. Cloud Dance looked at the Shengguancong, couldn't help squinting his eyes, the solemnity of the undercurrent in his eyes. You say, cut off his head, can he still heal? Cloud Dance asked softly. I'm afraid he won't give it. Long Qingxie's magnetic voice also gently brushed her ear. Boom. At this time, the underground, hungling a pair of three entangled the three old men, seems to be more and more difficult. Cloud Dance takes back the line of sight, frowned to stare at that upper official grave, low voice way, forget to tell you, the last drop of blood has just used. If you want to leave, you have to take blood from Shengguancong instead of killing it. But if you want to kill Shengguancong, it's obvious that it's impossible for them to work together. The evil spirit of Long Qingxie's mouth rose, and his wound didn't heal completely. However, he liked the smell of blood. In that case, we can only take it by ourselves. At the end of the speech, an épée suddenly flew out of his hand. Good. Cloud Dance that corner of the mouth also a hook, the ancient martial arts big knife instantly grasped in the hand, the sharp breath diffuses. Two people fight side by side, giving people a sense of incomparable harmony. Before me, after you. If you get blood, you can withdraw. As soon as the dragon's evil words fell, his figure flashed quickly and went straight to the eyes of the Ink Knight. From the beginning, Shengguancong seems to give people a feeling of not slow and not tight. Maybe, he thinks that entering the family of 10,000 beasts is like a turtle in a jar. Let's see what tricks they can play. This kind of mentality is actually a kind of monkey play. Of course, Long Qingxie and Yunwoo naturally don't know his mentality. Shengguancong looks at the evil dragon. His eyes are as deep as a black hole. He can't see any emotion fluctuation. But at the moment when Dragon's evil attack came, his dark and foggy figure was in vain. In the twinkling of an eye, his cold fingers had caught the épée attacked by Long Qingxie. Just a little push. Click. The ape made a cracking sound on the spot. Brush. Shangguanzhong suddenly had a backhand, and the truncated blades suddenly turned around and suddenly attacked a position behind him. Dragon Qingxie saw this moment, his face suddenly changed, almost subconsciously called out, "Get out of the way." Originally hidden in the elements of space, Yunwu, who was ready to attack from behind, also changed his face and dodged. But the broken sword, however, did not give Yunwu any chance to dodge. What's more, it also pierces the space elements that enter her body, poof. The sound of the knife into the flesh. Yunwu's body, like a heavy blow, was directly broken out of the element space and flew out towards the ground. This scene, as the number of the protection of the sky outside the Shangguan several people in the eye. Little 5. Little dance. Cloud dance. Exclamations filled the air outside. One by one, they want to rush down, but they can't get close to the scope of the shield at that moment. The dragon's face changed, and his golden eyes seemed to be filled with blood, becoming ferocious and violent. Bang! A crashing sound, accompanied by the dust on the ground raised. On the ground, the red Ling, who was still entangled with the 3 old men, seemed to be stiff and stopped. She looked straight at the direction where Yunwu fell. Master! The dust dispersed. Originally anxiously looking at several people, but all Zhengleng for a while, including the 3 old men who were entangled by Hongling. See, Cloud Dance rubs the position of the chest, breathed heavily to embrace a potato, slowly stand up from the ground. And just that stab to her chest of broken sword, at this time is inserted in a round potato above. Little guy, are you okay? Cloud Dance patted a ball-like potato in her arms. The strength that just hit Shangguanzhong is really strong. If it wasn't for the sudden appearance of the little potato in her arms and the subsequent moves of Hyo that blocked most of her actions, she would have been ended by a broken sword. No, it's fake. However, Yunwu was surprised that the little guy who had been in her space suddenly came out to replace her broken sword. Click, click. All of a sudden, some kind of sound of nibbling on steel sounded. When people see clearly how it is going on, one by one suddenly some silly eyes. I saw that the little guy who was just a round potato suddenly cracked a sharp tooth from the position of the broken sword, and chewed along the blade bit by bit. Click, click. When the gnawing sound disappeared, the broken sword, which had been inserted in the potato, had already disappeared in Zhang Li's mouth. At this time, the round potato stretched out the round short fat hands and feet, and the fat little head. It's not delicious. Little red tongue licked his lips, little mouth pouted like discontent, staring at Yunwu and spitting out 3 words. Not good. The cloud dances and hears the speech. It's a burst of crying and laughing. Is it difficult? It just came out to block the sword for her, just to find something to eat. But when Shangguanzhong saw the little warcraft in her arms, there was a sudden change in her gloomy face. How did you get the cubs of the poor monster? You've been to the lower level of the base. In the dark eyes of Shangguanzhong, a touch of unbelievable uneasiness finally appeared. His cold hands were clenched into fists. No way. The only poor and strange beast in the world has been dead for thousands of years. He has spent most of his energy to wake up the poor and strange beast. How can there be poor and strange cubs? However, the cub appeared in front of his eyes, which cannot be fake. How could she let the poor beast's cubs sacrifice their lives to save each other? How can it be? The poor beast is poor monster. Why do you think that name is so familiar? By the way, on Earth, there seems to be a myth of 4 fierce beasts, and one of them seems to have a poor strange. It's just that this potato-like little guy in her arms is really that fierce beast. No way. Girl, what are you doing? Let's go. At this time, black proud voice from Cloud Dance in mind. Now, not only has Hyo's strength not been restored, but also he is imprisoned in the Chaos Palace. Even if he can get a phantom, his strength will be greatly reduced. He can't be the opponent of Shengguanzheng. The girl also made such a small beast out, which was playing with fire. But in the black AO that words fall, there is no chance to cloud dance reaction. Shengguanzheng's mood seems to have been changed. His face is ferocious and gloomy, and his figure moves strangely. In the twinkling of an eye, the figure came to Yunwu. Brush. Did not give anyone the opportunity to react, cold hands into claws, straight to the shoulder of Cloud Dance. The other hand caught the little warcraft in her arms, little potato. Dragon Qing Xie's eyes sank. At the same time, his body quickly flashed. Yuan Li-ning grew up with a sword and went straight to the claw attacking the cloud. Bang! The collision of the sharp tools aroused the half-star spark. I'm looking for death. Shengguanzheng's eyes flashed with impatience, the black fog suddenly raised, the claws were strange, and they ran straight through Long Qingxi's body. You just want to die. You want to hurt my man in front of me. You think I'm dead. Cloud Dance reflected that at the moment, Guwu broadsword split away. Bang! In an instant, 3 lights collided. The strong breath spread around all of a sudden. The strong breath surprised the black-robed people and the 3 old men. That's their most powerful patriarch. How can they let those 2 younger generation entangle each other? Seeing that her master was so brave, Hong Ling was unwilling to fall behind. Gaga, I'm just hungry too. The ferocious branches spread all around. When they saw those black-robed people coming, they suddenly separated countless branches, quietly sneaked away, ready to attack directly when these black-robed people were surprised. By the way, I'll get some teeth-beating sacrifices to recover my strength. Ah, it's cannibal. Use fire quickly. I just used it, but I didn't. Not only here, but also in many directions, the whole beast gate is being trampled and destroyed by several contract beasts. They don't care what they are, but when they see what can be smashed or destroyed, they will do it to their heart's content. As for the people who stop the beast gate, if they can fight, they will fight. If they can't win, they will run. Anyway, they can do damage while running. However, not only the other side of the fight is also the same lively. The sun has just set and the night has just arrived. Qingyong City, Thundergate. Outside the courtyard surrounded by stones, there are figures hiding the breath as far as possible, all of them lurking from all sides of the street. Silent, one by one seems to be a touch of ghosts in general. In order not to attract anyone's attention, these people are wearing ordinary clothes. If it wasn't for those sharp eyes, just looking at their clothes and faces, no one would think that these people were the well-trained lower mortal troops. In less than 2 years, the strength of these people has reached the strength of Wuxing at least, and even some of them have broken through the level of Wuzuan. These strengths, if put in the original lower bound, will definitely make people feel idiotic. In 2 years, from the strength of the class, it leaped to the rank of Wuxing or even Wuzuan. What does that mean? Needless to say, it is estimated that in the eyes of people in the lower world, it is simply the existence of madness. Captain, we are all here. A low voice came from a seemingly ordinary man. Gao Yu nodded, stretched out his hand, and made a unique gesture towards the silent team. At this time, Gao Yu just turned to look at the Lingxian sky around him. Has the cold water arrived? Make Xian Tianmu swept around, tiny shake head, don't know, those people are cloud dance training with ghost-like, can't feel their existence at all. Not waiting. Or should we act first? Gao Yu asked. Although he was the leader of the team, he did not know when he formed the habit of asking the military advisor for advice. Make Xian Dai frown to meditate for a while. Wait a moment, we can't miss this time. With the cold water team, this place has a better chance of winning. This time, the target is the Thunder Gate, which is respected by the upper world. Although they have only been in the upper boundary for some time, they have also made some investigations on the status and strength of the upper boundary. This time of action, we must go all out, can't let miss down. After hearing this, Gao Yu nodded and was about to make a waiting gesture to the soldiers lurking around. Suddenly, a dark shadow passed in front of my eyes. Before Gao Yu and others reacted, the cold figure stood in front of them. Gao Yu's face turned black when he saw someone coming. White water, can you stop floating out all the time? I want to scare people to death. Gao Yu clenched his teeth in a low voice and glared at the white water in black clothes. In fact, there was a flash of surprise in my heart. Ah, I haven't seen him for a few days. His strength has improved again. Is he an assassin or a ghost? White clear water hears speech, but just cold of glanced at him one eye, then turned the vision to make Xian Day body. How are you going to act? Make Xian Day to see and eye him, the person all arrived together. If you get there, follow the plan. After hearing the words, Bai Qingshui didn't say anything. In a flash, the shadow just in front of the crowd disappeared into the dim night. Damn, is he a human or a ghost? Gao Yu muttered again. If it's not for frequent contact during this period, it will really make people feel like a ghost. No matter what, it's gone. Make Xian Day mouth corner slightly young, also low a voice. This is her ability, as long as the person that trains out from her hand, can be ordinary ability. Not only Gao Yu, but also the soldiers who were lurking behind him nodded their heads. Yes, if it wasn't for Miss Nine, they would not have learned so much, let alone entered the upper bound. At the thought of this, the worship of Gao Yu and others seemed to deepen unconsciously. In a moment. In the dark night, dozens of strange shadows appeared from the corners of the trees outside the stone wall. If we don't observe carefully, we can't find out at all. The outside and the sky of the gate are shrouded by spiritual power. The only entrance to the gate is the stone gate guarded by the two guards. Brush. Brush. All of a sudden, the subtle sound of two invisible sharp weapons cutting through the air swept by. The two guards didn't know what was going on, so they were stabbed and broke their necks. At the moment when the two guards fell to the ground, dozens of dark shadows passed like ghosts. No one could see clearly at all. Those figures had disappeared at the entrance. It's like a ghost. Lurking outside was Gao Yu. After a murmur, he immediately raised his hand and made a gesture in the void. Just as the gesture had just fallen, hundreds of figures had already sneaked to the entrance of the gate. Gao Yu got up and was ready to enter. He had a good show. Wait a minute. Make Xian Tian reach out and stop Gao Yu. What's the matter? You stay. What? Shall I stay? Gao Yu frowned when he heard the words. Well, if you take 100 people with you and stay here, we need you to save our way, besides cutting off the back road of the people of Peihongmen. Make Xian Day voice low deep say. This time, I don't think it's that simple. Whatever the situation, it's always right to be thoughtful. Gao Yu is the leader of the war. He prefers to fight on the battlefield and sprinkle his blood on the battlefield. However, in the eyes of the Xiantian, I don't know why, he seems to understand the worry in his heart. Peace. Second, Gao Yu grins, and suddenly reaches out his hand and claps it on the shoulder of Ling Xiantian. He says seriously, brother, don't worry, I'm here. Make Xian Day also reach out to clap up his shoulder, take care. It seems that everything has been expressed from the moment of clapping on the shoulder. Go. A moment later, there was a fierce fight in the gate. Originally orderly, the Thunder Gate was in chaos under the sudden attack. Make Xian Day will lead the soldiers, according to the plan from the outside into, with White Water Assassin Corps inside and outside cooperation. For a moment, there was a feeling of being defeated in the gate. Who are you? At this time, where does the Thunder Gate still look as high as before? Now the leading deputy sect leader and some of the leading sects are holding the bloody hands tightly. His black robe is in a state of disrepair. There are still several wounds on his body. The blood is not flowing continuously. It is obvious that he is seriously injured. What are these people who come out of the blue? Their strength is obvious, They don't feel very strong, but they have a strange assassination skill, which makes them suffer a lot. In the upper world, what faction can have such a strange assassin? Ah! There was another scream. A guard of the Thunder Gate flew in from the door. Make Xian Dai lead the well-trained soldier, quickly from that four sides in circle but come, immediately surround the main affairs hall of the Thunder Gate. When the deputy door master looked at the bodyguard on the ground, his eyes suddenly shrank. Witchcraft? The bodyguard was witched? How can it be? Only the witches can know how to use it. How can Ling Xiantian, Bai Qingshui, and some of the assassins and soldiers stand around? Along the way, they kill people when they see them. But along the way, they find that there are not hundreds of people in the gate. It's really weird for such a big gate. However, since we have come in, we must at least destroy the Thunder Gate. You are the witch people. Deputy Door Lord shocked looking at the situation in front of him, but soon, his eyes are a little gloomy, staring at Ling Xuanqian and others. Do you know that this is the gate of Peihong? If you dare to provoke, you will be ready to be destroyed. Although there are many dead bodies in the gate, it seems to be a shell that has been evacuated. However, the authority and power of Peihong men can't be fooled by some unknown characters. Bai Qingshui looked coldly at the master of the door. A touch of disdain flashed in his eyes and said with a sneer, "Destroy? Today is the day of destruction." By Qingshui's words, unexpectedly that pair of door master's heart bottom trembles. It seems to me that the assassins just brought by Qingshui are killing people like ghosts and cutting rice seedlings. Who is your master? I want to talk to him. The doorman straightened up and said coldly. In the upper bound, they are the representatives of identity. If it's not just that they happen to take most of the people out of the sect, how can these little characters break into their Peihong gate? It's like killing every minute. However, the bottom of my heart cannot help but feel surprised. The martial arts and killing skills of these people are strange and hateful. It's clear that these people are the most powerful. But they didn't damage any of them. In a short time, they almost washed the door of Peihong. Although there are only 100 people in the gate, they are all low-level guards. But the strange speed of these people's killing is really terrible. Who are these people? Don't talk to him. He's stalling on purpose. Make Xian Dai suddenly cold-mouthed way, there is no any mercy in the eye. Entering the gate, you can feel that there are too few bodyguards in the gate, and the powerful ones are not present. However, it can also take advantage of the emptiness of the gate to complete the task of cloud dance. Destroy this thunder gate. Make Xuantian's voice fall, white clear water naturally understand his meaning in that words. In a moment, the sword in his hand was a ling. The assassin and the soldier immediately aroused Yuanli to attack several people in the hall. It seemed that the master knew that he couldn't delay his time, so he roared, "If you really want to die, I'll let you try to provoke the end of the Thunder Gate." Other several leaders, eyes suddenly cold, breath set off. Make Xian Dai hand a turn, black goo instantly congeals from his hand but comes out, next second already volley the sky to brush. Just when the black bug attacked the leaders of the Thunder Gate, suddenly, a more powerful energy gushed out from the place where the three fell down, and directly collided with the black bug. Boom! Under the sound of an explosion, sparks suddenly splashed in the hall. Zzz. The sound of burning, accompanied by a stench spread in the living room. "Sir, bring people to kill me at the gate of Peihong. I wonder if anyone has asked me if Liao Zongtian has killed me." A voice that sounds like a gentle voice came from a distance. After a while, sea that was originally covered by the spirit of the sky, spirit suddenly disappeared, and a 40-year-old middle-aged man, a robe like elegant flying. This man is no other than Liao Zongtian. White clear water with Make Xian Dai etc., under hearing, all turn ahead toward the outside that half sky saw one eye, the eye ground is cold alert. Master Liao. Make Xian Dai long of spit out these words, the mood is insipid. Liao Zongtian just stood in the air, and the sharp eyes looked at the open Lingxian sky. For a moment, the corner of his mouth suddenly outlined a smile. You are a witch. That is a positive word. It seems that Liao Zongtian's eyes are poisonous. He can see the identity of Ling Xiantian at a glance. However, when Liao Zongtian sweeps by Qing Shui and the assassins and soldiers around him, he is surprised. You are from the lower world. You can enter the border and enter the upper world. It seems that your master is not simple. After Liao Zongtian's words fell, all the people who were still alive in the gate were shocked. What? Are all the people who almost washed the gate of Peihong tonight from the lower world? Oh, my God, people in the lower world, they didn't hear me wrong, did they? You're tuning into the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.